Once more, Pendo made it.
Yo, what is going on, mate? It's your host. It's Rapstar Boxing in the fucking building. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me tell you, the stage is set. The fight is here. And there is no more Twitter beef. There is no more Instagram beef. It's here now. We're waiting for the big stage, And this is a big fight. Devin the Dream Haney. Lomachenko. Now we're waiting for the venue. Bob Arum said we're going to announce the fight, and the fight is already agreed. So look, it's here, mate. Lomachenko, the man that wants this fight. Remember that. While people don't believe in Lomachenko because of the last outing with Jermaine Ortiz. So now Devin Haney is the big favorite. That's right. Devin Haney is the big favorite now because of Lomachenko coming out, and he didn't prove to the world where he looked special. But Lomachenko said he wants to fight, and Bob Arum is getting this fight. So it's on. The stage is set. The big venue is coming, and we're going to get a big announcement. Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Lomachenko for the undisputed WBO, WBA, WBC, IBF belt. All the belts are on the line, and Lomachenko wants it. Now, I know that the fans are a little bit not with the Lomachenko matrix side anymore. And I've seen a big amount of fans after the Jermaine Ortiz fight. They don't believe in Lomachenko. But guess what? Lomachenko believes in himself. The three-weight world champion. The man who actually has got the best amateur pedigree in the game of boxing. There ain't nobody who's got an amateur record like Lomachenko. And Lomachenko says he wants to be undisputed. Who are we to say that he can't do it, even at 34 years old? Now, we know that Lomachenko looks like he lost a step. It looks like Lomachenko in the Jermaine Ortiz fight looks like he lost a punch, lost a step. He didn't look that great. So if he had knocked out Jermaine Ortiz, maybe Lomachenko would have been the favorite. Maybe Lomachenko would have been the favorite if he would have stopped Jermaine Ortiz. But let's keep it real and let's keep it honest. How can you go against Lomachenko? How can you even bet against Lomachenko? When it comes to Lomachenko, Devin Haney, it's a 50-50 fight. I still can't put my money on Devin Haney. I believe Lomachenko can still come back as an old man he is and still take all of the belts. I believe Devin Haney can lose to Lomachenko even now. Even this Lomachenko right now is a special man. There hasn't been many fighters who's ever came in this sport and put on boxing gloves and done what Lomachenko's ever done. Just remember this, Lomachenko is a small 126-pounder who is fighting these big guys. And Lomachenko doesn't duck any smoke. This man will fight anybody. That's why he tests himself with these young lions. That's why Lomachenko don't care if you're a young guy. He's still coming for you. So let me just tell you, the fight is set. The big stage is set. The venue is getting set. Now we're going to get the date and we're going to get a venue. And this fight is happening, bro. Boy, Halim in the building. Johnny Thunder, MFB. Yes, man. Bruce goes. What's happening to my brethren? Brian Guzman. Johnny Thunder in the building. Yes. Hayes. Halim. What's happening, boys? Hey, the fight is here, man. These two have already agreed to fight. Lomachenko, Devin Haney is going down. In 2023, it's happening. There is no more back and forth. Bob Arum said, the fight is happening, and I'm getting the venue, and I'm getting the date. So look, Bob Arum promised Lomachenko. And Bob Arum and Loma are very close. Loma's been with Bob Arum since a long time. And he told Bob Arum, I want to be undisputed. And the Bob father is not going to let Lomachenko down. The Bob father is not going to let Lomachenko down. Bob Arum has put the fight together and he's giving Devin Haney everything Devin Haney wants. Everything Devin Haney wants, he's going to get it. I'm telling you, anything Devin Haney wants, he wants a new fucking Rolls Royce. Devin Haney wants millions in the bank. Devin Haney wants big chains. Devin Haney's getting everything he ever wanted. They're going to pay Devin Haney all the money in the world because Bob Arum promised Lomachenko to his Ukrainian friend that I'm going to get you for the undisputed. And when Bob Arum promised him, Bob Arum is fulfilling his promise. I'm just saying, Bob Arum is fulfilling his promise. And people cannot believe in Loma. I know people are not believing in him anymore. You know, the people who don't believe in Loma, remember this. He's fighting fucking Devin Haney. He ain't fighting no Mayweather. He ain't fighting no Pernell Whitaker. And he ain't even fighting no guy which is on the top level. Devin Haney is also not fought any top guys. Devin Haney's best opponent is George Kambosos. Lomachenko's got 20 best opponents. Lomachenko been through champions more than anyone. Lomachenko been through champions more than we change our fucking underpants. This man, Lomachenko, made many men quit. Don't forget that. He made Nicholas Walters, the Jamaican prince, he made him quit. He ended Nicholas Walters, right? You know who Lomachenko is? He put Rigondeaux on his stool and made him quit. So if this Lomachenko comes back for all guns blazing and Lomachenko's training really fucking hard, well, I am not going to go against Lomachenko. I got my money on Lomachenko. How about that one? How about that one? I still tell you that Lomachenko can beat the fuck out of Devin Haney. I'm telling you, if you guys believe that Devin Haney's going in this for an easy fight, you are fucking way, way, way mistaken. Even this Loma is more active now. With Lomachenko coming in with Jermaine Ortiz has kept his feet active. Now he's only in the gym now getting ready with Papachenko. And you know Papachenko got a game plan. I am telling you now, people, say what the fuck you want. Say what the fuck you want. I cannot put my money on Devin Haney either. I am not confident to just go and put hundreds of pounds on Devin Haney. I'm not. I can't say that I'm very confident that Devin Haney's going to win. And let me just break this down for you. Devin Haney should win, maybe. He's young, way younger, way bigger. He's got a reach. Devin Haney's way more fresher. Lomachenko's an old man. But I can't go against Lomachenko. I can't do that to myself. I am not going to sit here and be an idiot knowing that the younger guy and the bigger guy and the fresher guy, he's not as good as Loma when Loma was in his prime. If this was prime for prime, I got Lomachenko beating Devin Haney all day. Hear me clearly. If this is prime Lomachenko, Lomachenko prime, yeah? I feel that Lomachenko prime will wash Devin Haney. It will beat Devin Haney. But right now, it's a 50-50 fight. Loma has got older. Loma has lost a little bit of a step. Maybe Lomachenko's age has caught up a little ago. I got to say what I'm saying right now, people. I got to say that this is a 50-50 fight. I cannot favor any man ahead of any man. This fight is going to be very tight. But if you ask me 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd go with Lomachenko. I would go with Lomachenko. Now I know that people hate Lomachenko out here. You know, nobody's ever given Lomachenko that credit. But this man won over 400 and something amateur fucking fights, you idiot. He's beaten some of the great fighters in the amateurs. And then he came to the fucking professionals and he fought a world champion fight after his second fight. Third fight, he went in for a title and he beat Gary Russell Jr., a 26-0 against a 2-0. Who the fuck ever does that? And then from there, he went into champion after champion, Martinez, Jason Sosa, Nicholas Walters, Rigondeaux. So many names the man has put away. Can't deny this man what he is. This man has to go down as one of the greatest, whether you hate him or love him, I don't give a fuck. Yeah? I'm not here to listen to people just hating on Lomachenko. Go fuck yourself and get out of the channel. How about that? How about you can go fuck yourself if you want to just sit here and hate on one of the great fighters because he's not American or he's not English. What, he's not Australian, is it? Is it because he's a Ukrainian? Go fuck yourself. Lomachenko is a fucking man that you better recognize. And what Loma's done for this sport, ain't no American, Australian, or Englishman or any man has done what Loma's done. There ain't a man who's done what Loma has done. I don't give a fuck what you say. You can hate on Loma. You can say what you want, but today's not your day. Today you're going to eat your crow and you're going to put respect on Lomachenko's name. Yes, you are. Because Lomachenko at 34 years old, even though you don't believe him, and even though you don't fucking believe him, because I've seen all the fans. I've seen fans say, oh, Loma's done. Loma's old. Loma hanged about with the war. Loma ain't ready. I heard all of that. But Lomachenko is still taking the risk. How about that? How about you respect Lomachenko, the old man, who is still trying to test himself with these young, top elite fighters? Who does that anymore? You know what I'm saying? Who comes up at 3 weight classes and does what Lomachenko does? So go fuck yourself and go suck on Devin Haney's cock. How about that? Yeah? How about you go suck on Devin Haney's cock today? Because I'm telling you now, Lomachenko is free smoke. And I've got all the respect for Lomachenko now. Seeing that he still wants to try and achieve. Lomachenko can leave now and he's a Hall of Famer. Say what you want. Lomachenko can leave right now and he's a Hall of Famer. All right, mate? So we don't need your criticism here. Fake casual fans are just haters. You know, the people like they hate on Canelo, people which hate on Mayweather, people that hate on all the best fighters like Tyson Fury. This is the same snowball effect. You hate on greatness. You hate on special people because Lomachenko only gets hate because of you being a hater. One fight with Jermaine Ortiz is not the end of the world. I'm telling you now, bro. One fight with Jermaine Ortiz ain't the end of the world. And Lomachenko is the fucking top guy. I have never seen fighters do it like Loma has done it. So what if he's got a loss in his second fight? Ain't nobody fighting the way that he did. Ain't no motherfuckers fighting the way that he did. Go and have a look at Devin Haney's first 10 fights, 20 fights in Mexico. There's some shitty opponents, taxi drivers. Go and have a look at every other fighter's first 10 fights, 20 fights, taxi fucking Uber drivers. But you got a man who's done it more better and done it more wilder. And he has done something that not many men have done. So I am not here going to go against the Matrix. Because even if Matrix has got half of the Matrix left, that's all he needs. That's all he needs. Matrix was not Matrix for no reason. He is not Roy Jones Jr.'s favorite fighter for no reason. He is Roy Jones Jr.'s favorite fighter ever because people real recognize real and pussies recognize nobody. Real recognize real and casuals will always be casuals. So fuck you and fuck the hater. All right? I'm talking about the haters. Go fuck yourself. Lomachenko, the Matrix versus Devin the Dream Haney. The stage is getting set. The announcement is coming. We got a fight. And wow, we're going to get a venue and we're going to get a date. And this fight, it's on. Now you know. Put some respect on Devin Haney's name. Devin Haney coming out for the smoke. Devin Haney knows that this is a fight that he needs to prove to himself. Going anywhere else for Devin Haney, I told everybody this before. And you need to believe when your boy Rap tells you that Devin Haney needs this fight. Because he makes the most millions by fighting the Matrix. If he goes and fights at 140, there is nothing left for Devin Haney right now. If he moves to 140, he ain't even going to be going to fight a champion, is he? Straight away. Who's he going to fight? Regis Prograis? Who's he going to fight? Josh Taylor? This is the best opportunity for Devin Haney. Devin Haney, being a young guy, he's got the right chance. This is the right time. You are not going to get a better opportunity and a better chance, bro. This is the chance that Devin Haney got to grab it with both hands. Haney's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? Haney going to be way too big for Loma, says Jonathan Ramirez. Loma's timing might be off for the young champion. We're going to see what's happening, Teapot. Johnny Thunder, respect these nuts. Hey, lol, real boxing, don't make him cry. Hey, Haney a big boy too. Too many cheeseburgers, bruh. Yo, Top Rank is just using Haney to get Loma's belts back. If it goes the distance, Loma will win. If it goes the distance, Lomachenko is going to win. Now smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let me tell you something exclusive is coming on Monday. Something exclusive is coming on Monday. All right? Rachel Donner and Rick Glazier are going to have a free smoke debate on my channel. It's on. The stage is set on Rapstar. Rick Glazier versus Rachel Donner. It's going to be hard boxing talk. Rick Glazier doesn't agree with Rachel Donner. He says that she is not a top manager. She doesn't deserve to be in the manager rankings, and she is not part of the top managers. Rachel Donner's got something to say about that, and I'm sure she's got a 1-2 punch for Rick Glazier. I'm sure Rachel Donner has got a lot to say with what she's bringing to the sport. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's on. It's smoke. Rachel Donner versus Rick Glazier on Monday, American time, 10 p.m. Both people are going to be here. It's going to be free smoke. Rachel Donner versus Rick Glazier. It's on. Don't miss it on Monday. All right? But yo, Danny says, I can't wait for Rachel versus Rick Glazier. When are the weigh-ins? The weigh-in will be on Rapstar on Sunday night. Yeah, man, we'll touch it down Sunday night. Morning, Ralph. Yes, Halim. Eric Gomez says, my manager, Rachel, will smoke Rick. Rachel, the monster Donner. She's coming. Yeah? She said, set the venue up. Faces are going to come up. Face of Rachel and the face of Rick Glazier. Free smoke. Who wins the debate? You're going to decide. We're going to see who wins this debate. It's going down. It's going on. It's going down, mate. So I'm telling you now. Rick Glazier told me Monday, you better set this up. Rachel Donner told me Monday, you better set it up. All right. Rachel in 6. Rick is old school. I'm with him. He has worked with the legends like Don King. Wow, shit's on point. Real Boxing said, smoke, this fix is in. I have no dog in this race. I want to see emotions flare and feelings get hurt. Yes, man. Geyser says, Rick is going to check homegirl. Hey, it is what it is. Rick is, Rick Glazier don't hold back. And I told Rachel, I said, Rachel, if you come for the smoke, I can't get involved. Nobody's going to get involved. It's between you and Rick Glazier. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know that Rick came here yesterday and he told Rachel certain things. He told us, he told us straight on certain things. He tried to say certain things to Rachel. Well, you can go and watch the channel. Now, Rachel has to retaliate, but Rick Glazier said he has to leave yesterday after cooking with me for 1 hour. He gave it to Rachel and then he said he's got to go. I said, yo, Rick, Rachel ain't having it, bro. Rachel told me to get Rick back. So I fucking called Rick. I said, Rick, you can't just smoke and say certain things. She wants to debate you. She wants to have the smoke. So Rick said, okay, I'm going to go sleep, right? I've got boxing work to do in the morning. I've got to deal with some boxers. You tell her to be ready on Monday. But he also said to me that I don't want anyone interrupting. It's between me and her or even me and the Donners. So Rick said it's between him and the Donners and nobody else is going to intervene. It's going to be free smoke. It's here on Monday. Don't miss it because it's coming. All right. That's a good undercard. All right. Let me send the link because I've got to make a couple of emails. So let's get ready to talk about Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. The fight is set. The fight is here. Let's make it happen. Maybe I should send some. Give me a sec. Maybe I should send a special guest the link as well. Would you say to that? Shall I send it to another guest? Do you guys want me to send a link to another guest? Another special guest? You know how we do it over here. We don't play over here, mate. Hit that like button. It's going down. Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. The fight is set. Now we're going to get you an announcement, and there's going to be an announcement soon. All right? Yeah, let's do it. You already know. Rapstar versus Tiafimo Sr. It's going down. Yeah? Hey, look, somebody hit the link, right? Let me go get another special guest in a minute. Let me send a link, but I need somebody to hit the link, sit on the channel for a minute while I send a link to another guest, and we get somebody maybe new in the building, all right? So give me a minute. But yo, I'm telling you now, are you guys already backing out of Lomachenko? Let me see how the vibe is. Do you believe that that fight with Jermaine Ortiz ain't ways to prove about Lomachenko? Do you still believe Lomachenko beats Devin Haney? That's what I want to know. Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you still believe Lomachenko beats Devin Haney? Yes or no? Yes. Verbio says yes. Jermaine Ortiz will beat Haney too, says MFB. What if Rick Grazier tells Rachel women don't belong in management when it comes to male boxers? That's between Rachel. That's between Rachel and Rick Glazier. All right, listen, you guys have got to give me a minute, yeah? I've got to hit a couple of emails. So if somebody wants to hit the link, or I'm just going to play a couple of videos until I get back. All right, I'm going to send the link one more time. Everybody wants to hit the link when they feel like it. Well, fucking hit it when I tell you to hit it then. All right? So I'm going to go hit some, I've got to do a couple of emails. All right, you guys might as well watch a couple of videos until I come back then. All right? I'm going to put some videos on and I'll be back in a minute.
What up?
How are you?
I'm great.
Can we meet you?
My name is Tunde Tupac, aka the Rap Killer,
Tunde Tupac.
the Rap Flexer, kill them all.
Your name.
Your name is
Tunde Tupac.
Tunde Tupac.
You can write the Rap Killer there.
But Tunde is your name.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Tunde, with your dressing, I know the kind of song that you're about to present.
Yes.
So you want to tell us about it?
Just rap game. I kill the rap game because the haters want us down, but they're not gonna get us.
You don't need to tell us about the haters now.
Rappers, right? You're a rapper.
A rapper.
Good. Let's hear you.
Check it. Ha ha. Check it. Ha ha ha. Check it. Check it. Check it. I rule everywhere. I rule. They want to take me down, but they cannot take me down. Yeah. I rule New York. I rule Lagos to Atlanta. We go to Chicago. Check me out. Check my game. My game is tight. All the haters, I shoot them in the brain. Boom, boom, boom. I've been around with my guys, 50 Cent, Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg. We're all in this game together because I kill them all. I kill Tupac and I kill Biggie. I kill them all because they can't contain my rap game.
Hey!
Off the hook because I'll kill you
Go
all
on,
now.
Mirage, you can have your 2 minutes.
You killed?
In a minute.
You killed who?
It's just a lyric. Don't fear.
Lyric.
Yeah.
Your lyric
Hey.
will put you in trouble. You have to be very careful. You don't just go about saying things that you don't know.
It's a rap game. That's how it is.
Oh, okay.
How old are you?
I've been in this game for more than 20 years.
How old are you?
Right, what's going on here, Donny Zondernex? Barry's actually going to propose to Sandra. Sandra has been giving Barry mad head lately. and he's witch, yeah? He's doing this behind the back of the boys because they know, yeah, they would have cussed him out for proposing to Sandra. Tracy had one job to do, and that was to record it. But she's all over the bloody place. Barry's clocked that she didn't get the footage, so he's going to propose to Sandra again. Oh, for fuck's sake, Tracy! What's going on?
Go on, Max. Mirage. We got another guy, Bob, in the back. You guys
I
keep
just-
it moving, and I'll
I
be
just
back
want
in a
to
minute.
know why Mirage is hating on Loma. It makes
Yeah,
no
talk
sense
to Mirage
me.
about that. I'll be
I
back
just
in a
don't
minute.
understand. He's been talking crap since Loma's last fight. Loma's still elite level, bro. He's
If you
still
criticize a fighter,
He's
that
still
means you're a
elite.
hater. If you
He's still
criticize a
elite.
fighter,
But
so elite fighters lose to Ortiz, do they? Do they lose to a
he
nobody?
didn't lose to Ortiz, bro. I saw the fight the other day again.
Okay,
And it was
let's, for the sake of argument, say he won. You will accept
no,
that
he did.
barely.
Those are the facts. He won.
No,
The
no.
judges gave him the fight, right? He won the fight. So
Whoa,
those are the
did
facts.
you just? Are you hiding behind boxing judges? Is that what you're seriously doing?
No, they saw the
That's what
fight and they thought that he won the fight. I agree with the judges. He did win the fight.
So you defer to boxing judges. They're always right, are they?
Mirage, most of the people believe Loma won that fight. You're one of the few people out there.
Okay, do you admit at least that it was a very close fight, that he struggled in that fight?
It was up to like the 7th round, but then
No,
like, up to the 8th round.
overall, when you look at the fight overall, do you accept
10, 11, and 12, Loma dominated.
But that's not a whole fight. That's not a whole fight, is it?
No, it's not. But it was a good fight. But Loma won that fight, bro.
Okay, now you're gonna be rational, are you? Here,
go ahead. I just don't understand the hate for Loma. Like I
so
get
do you accept? Do you
I
accept?
get you hate
that
Canelo,
Loma
but damn,
struggled,
Loma too,
that it
bro.
was do you accept that it was a close fight? That Lomachenko overall struggled, like it was a close fight?
Nope, I don't think he struggled. He fought a young, hungry
You watched that
fighter.
fight, and you don't think that was a struggle?
He fought a young, hungry, undefeated fighter.
I didn't ask you
You're
that.
probably one of the few people that thought that Ortiz was a scrub.
Okay.
I never thought he was a scrub. Never thought he
Okay.
was a scrub. I knew he was going to come.
Do you think it was a
and
close
try to
fight?
fight.
Do you think it was a close fight?
I thought it was a competitive fight. How
did you score it?
From
Okay,
what
I'll run with competitive.
Yeah, it was a competitive fight.
I'll run with that.
Look,
do you think an elite fighter should have a competitive fight with the likes of Ortiz?
Do I have to say it again one more time? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think an elite fighter should have a competitive fight with the likes of Ortiz?
I mean, dude, he's an elite.
Or do you think they should dominate them? Or do you think? Because I think elite fighters should dominate.
Mind you, the dude
Ortiz.
was like, I'm not trying to make excuses for Loma. He came back from the war. His first fight, he got thrown.
I'm not going to make excuses, but he can make excuses.
You see? You gonna let me talk, dude? It was a great fight. It was competitive fight.
He didn't go to war. He just dressed up for a photo shoot.
Oh,
he didn't even fire a shot.
But
You're
Loma
fight to that bullshit.
But Loma still, his experience outshined in the later rounds. So
the later rounds,
it is what it is. Loma won.
You know, a fight is 12 rounds, right? It's not scored
Loma
like the last
won.
3.
And Ortiz would probably beat Devin Haney. I agree with MFD.
Many people, if you watch the forums, etc., many people thought it was a robbery that Loma lost.
Nah, that's you.
So I know you live in your bubble with
That's
Rapstar.
your narrative, homie. That's your narrative. Because most of the boxing podcasts I watch, a lot of people
forget about them. They're all delusional.
You and your MySpace group of friends, probably the only ones.
I'm talking about normal boxing fans on forums who watch boxing, not these podcasters. They're in the bubble. Forget it, like Rapstar. They're biased as fuck. But I don't care either way. I don't care about Ortiz or Loma. I just, believe it or not, I can be objective. I scored that generously. If I was generous to Loma, he lost 7-5. That's generous.
Okay? He lost 7-5?
He lost 7-5. There's no way he won that fight unless you're literally just charity rounds, just giving him charity rounds.
If anything, I'd give it to Loma 7-5.
Yeah, but even then, an elite fighter should not be going 7-5 with that dude, even if he's not a bum. He's Ortiz
not.
Okay, but he's not a bum. But an elite fighter doesn't need a bum to look good. Do you agree? Like elite fighters like Mayweather and co, they dominated top class world champion fighters, even other elite fighters. So Loma apparently he needs to fight bums to look great. If he fights like a decent fighter, then it's a struggle. That is not an elite fighter. Sorry.
Nah, I disagree right there, man. I thought and you know what? I actually became a fan of Ortiz after that fight, because that kid is no bum, man. He's gonna be elite at that in that division. He just ran into someone who's at an elite level and has more experience, man.
That was not an elite performance. Even the rounds he won were like close and whatever. So you think a Haney fight's going to be 50-50, right?
With Loma?
Yeah.
No, I think Loma's winning that.
Oh.
I got a 60-40.
Okay. So if Loma gets dominated, would you concede you were wrong and that you overestimated Loma all this time?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm standing on my square though. If that happens, which I doubt it'll happen,
then you're going to say, "Hey, Mirage, you were right all along, correct?"
I'll say that. I'll say that. I'm a man of my word.
Hey, let me just say this, yeah. We got Rachel Donaire in the building and the champ Nanito Donaire. Rachel, I've sent you the link. You got the link on your email, so people want to know how you're feeling about this debate. Half of the people believe that Rick is going to win the debate, and half of the people believe Rachel's going to win the debate.
I'm gonna tell you what. There's gonna be like 50 to 100 people here on Monday to watch this debate.
Yeah, I've sent Rachel the link anyway, and we got Frank in the back.
Yo, what's up?
You guys keep it cooking. Frank, it's going down on Monday.
Max. Yo,
what's up? Do we really need to have Frank in the back at all?
Yeah, we do, because Frank's my
that's
mate.
the homie. That's the homie. Let him go.
Frank, how do you feel about that debate? Rick Glazier versus Rachel Donaire.
It's gonna be fireworks, man. They're both
spicy.
They're both very what do you say? Outspoken.
Yeah.
You know, Rachel be throwing bombs, and Rick he got them old man bombs.
Yeah, but Rachel can be fiery. But yesterday,
no, you know what? No. The gloves are off. Fuck Rick and telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about. So he legit. When I said Floyd Mayweather Sr., here's the thing with me is I have photographic memory, so I know what I read. I just didn't know what year. So I was typing it in furiously, trying to get it before he ran out the back door. And sure enough, I have evidence on the BWA and also called a bunch of the BWAA writers to ask them if this was the correct years and dates, and the other people that I was questioning as far as trainers who's only had, or managers who's only had one fighter being not just nominated, but winning the BWAA for that year. And they're like, yeah, what's the problem? And I was like, well, I have this, this guy who has been aged out of the sport, is a dinosaur in the sport, trying to make himself relevant on Twitter, came at me numerous times. I had no issue with Rick Glazier. He has an issue with me because I'm a female. So, I mean, I showed way more amounts of restraint and class than he has to me in the last 3 accounts of him putting my name in his mouth on Twitter and on YouTube and last night. And it showed every single time that he would not give me my respect. So, I mean, the first point of my matter is going to be, and he knows this, I'm going to call you a goddamn liar to your face.
Okay. I mean, he could be watching. His assistant is always watching.
Have him watch. If he wants to come up now, we could do this right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why we wait until Monday. Why are you doing your research? We can go play right now.
Wow, Frank, she's fiery today.
I heard it, man.
This is the Rachel I wanted to see yesterday.
With the Hadouken.
No,
with the Hadouken.
She said, what did she say? She said she was friendly enough, but now it's free smoke. Now this is the Rachel I know. Her and Rick are gonna go at it. I can tell you.
Yeah,
it's going down.
Yeah,
what do you think, Max?
No, I mean, I didn't get to watch it live, but I saw the replay. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of sexist vibes from Rick, man, towards Rachel.
I second that.
I caught that last night when I was in interaction. It kind of like he low key tries to belittle Rachel in some way because I think she's a woman, and that's
oh for shit. Sure. Do you know how many times? Like, let me tell you, because we have this mute button, right? How many times I looked at Nonito and I go, this motherfucker will not say my name. I go, he's going to give respect to Richard as the promoter, which
Yeah, he
of
did.
course he
Yep.
should.
Yep.
Yeah.
But a manager works with the promoter. And I kept saying, you notice I kept like leaving things. I kept saying, I spoke with Richard at the WBC convention before everything happened. He understood the game plan I needed for Nonito. In addition to that, then I said, I brought Nonito to Richard. Nonito didn't walk to Richard when he got out of Top Rank. I brought him. And he just kept throwing it out. He's like, so, to the donors and Richard. I'm like, okay, now you're just trying to piss me off.
Yeah, and I didn't, for me, I don't want to say too much. You both are, my guest and everything, but I just still felt in front of your husband, he never give you no respect, even in front of the Nonito Donet. And I was like, you gotta give Rachel some credit here, and I just couldn't get him to do it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with me and Nonito, right? Like, and Nonito will tell you the same thing. When we go up to someone in person, right? Because this is the first time. So, for example, I've heard what he said, and then on Twitter he said something, and he leaves the Twitter space with, blah blah blah, God bless, good luck, like trying to say like, okay, let's end this, and I'm like, okay, cool, like I guess we're done. But I've never gone face to face with him. So for me, when you say stuff on Twitter and Instagram, especially Twitter, because you can't really hear what
Oh, so
like
this,
the
I'm sorry to
tone
interrupt. So this has been a thing. It
Yeah,
wasn't
can
just
you
a thing.
tell
with me.
Rachel Rachel, can you tell everyone, because
Yeah,
there's
I
a
was
lot
gonna
of
ask
fans
that
here
too.
right now who don't know how this actually all started. Where did it
It
start?
Uh-oh. Backstory.
started because literally all start. Again, never talked about Rick Glacier, never freaking mentioned his damn name, but it started because the BWAA nominated me. I just got a nomination for Manager of the Year. Did I think I was ever going to win it? No. Was I appreciative of just being named? Of course. So I put in my name? No. They put whoever they feel is worthy of being in the nominations. So I just left it at that. And because of that, he went on Twitter and was like started
Oh, that's
attacking me,
dirty.
and he was like, she doesn't deserve to be even
Wow.
in the running, and da
Haterade.
da da da. And I'm like, what the
Damn.
fuck did I ever do to you?
Damn.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what though, funny enough, Max, I'm gonna keep it real with you. A lot of people in the chat actually, they agree with Rick. Rick's got his own way with people. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people, they agree with him. Like, you got people saying, it is what it is. But Rachel just needs to bring it to him, and we got to see how he's going to retaliate, and then she's
Well,
going to retaliate, then he's going to retaliate. But the thing is, it's got to be an intellectual conversation, right?
Yeah.
Well, with facts. And I mean, if you want to come into a debate with me, the fact is, the longer you wait for a debate with me, the more screenshots I have. And if I literally wasn't going on the panel to do anything, but my whole point was to talk about, because we were talking about fighter financials, was I wanted to highlight that most of these fighters with, the tax brackets and things like that, like we talked about, is like, could they, or do you see a lot of the managers um, telling these fighters or giving them a financial advisor to get their best options as far as taxes and things like that, and how to run their business as a boxer, right? Because that's what they are. The boxer is a business in itself, right? So I was going that way, and yet it got hijacked somehow. That's the only reason I came into the panel. If he wanted to bring up and start to confront me, then okay, fine. But the more time, like I said, when I started looking up the BWA history and pulling up, yeah, that Floyd Mayweather Sr. was Manager of the Year, not just freaking nominated, won the damn year. Like, I'm like, I thought you literally said he was only trainer, and like, but ran out the door before it could load on because I'm on my phone.
yeah, I'm
So
surprised. I'm sorry, Rach. I'm surprised you didn't say that because that I didn't catch that you were nominated. You
Mm.
didn't make that very clear. So like that's something that you should emphasize because I thought you were saying that maybe you should be considered when I heard it last night.
no, no, and that's the weird part for me is, you think I went over there and said, hey, all you guys need to pay me my respect. No, this is the BWAA doing their own thing. And I was, again, surprised that I was even mentioned and, honored that I was even mentioned with the other managers. And I
Oh, I
just
think
left it
Rick
at that.
Glaze is here. I think he's here.
Good.
No. Sorry, it's somebody else.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
you
damn.
I thought it was
rap.
him. Hey,
Damn,
but
false
look.
alarm.
Hey, look. Let me say this though, Rachel. He is gonna come at you in different angles of the way that he is of your experience, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just conversations from back and forth. And I feel like, his ammunition is always saying that you only trained your husband. I mean, you've only managed your husband. You haven't got an experience of managing other fighters. So when he says that, I mean, to me, do you need, let me ask the chat or the panel, and I'm going to go ask, do you need multiple fighters in your resume to say that you are an elite manager or manager who deserves some status? Like, she got voted. He says that she shouldn't be allowed to be voted. What do you think about that, Max? What do you think about that, Frank?
I think it only takes
Keep
one.
it
I
real,
mean,
Frank.
yeah, it only takes one. I mean, she's managing a Hall of Famer. I mean, what needs to be said? It doesn't, because I've seen in boxing where guys, as trainers, and all they ever had was one fighter. So I don't think it's any different. I mean, if you're managing, if you're working at the highest level, that's all that matters.
Okay, who's
Right.
managing Devin Haney right now? Who's his
His
manager?
father.
And
His
I'm
father.
sure Bill Haney, but does Bill Haney have other fighters? Devin Haney has his own fighters, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Right?
Bill,
So
you mean?
Devin Haney has his own promotion
No,
where he
Devin
has
got
his
his
own,
own fighters.
he's got his own fighters. So does Bill
Yeah, he
Haney
got. I know he
manage?
has. I believe two right
So
now, or
does
one.
Bill
Amari
Haney
Jones.
does Bill Haney manage multiple fighters or
I
one
don't believe
fighter?
so. I think he does manage his fighter too. Yeah, but that just started though. But to to
Yeah.
to the question, I believe it does only take one, and not because he's a Hall of Famer, because that has a manager does play a part in that, but that's heavily on what the person can and can't do in the ring by themselves. Where his career and the fights he's gotten is going great, that is where you determine. And this type of situations you have been in behind closed doors can determine how much experience you have as a manager and how good you are as a manager. Because you can manage somebody with a name, or manage a fighter, or train a fighter, kind of like how Freddie Roach is. You can't really call him you can call him a good trainer. I call him a good trainer. I wouldn't call him great or one of the best ever. He's just always had these fighters that were all like crazy gifted. He's already had these fighters that way. He's never turned a fighter to something else ever.
I
So
So
disagree.
yeah,
He did with Manny Pacquiao.
I think the question becomes, if you have one legend or you have 10 fighters, isn't it managing a legend or a man who's up in that status that overcomes even having more fighters which are on a lower scale, no? Or
yeah,
Well,
that's a
well,
lot of
Rap,
tough
let me,
decisions
let
to
me,
make.
let me,
go on,
wait,
Rachel.
Rap, let me preface that though. You're saying I have a legend, right?
Of course you do.
What happened in 2016 when his career went down the toilet and he lost to Magdaleno and TR dropped him and Cameron Duncan walked away?
See, all these things you might need to. These are the things that you're going to be bringing out on Monday, right? And this is why I want to let you know that at the end of the day, he could even turn around and say to you, which is not for me to say, but he has said this before. He has come on my channel and said this before, that Rachel, you didn't bring up Nonito Donaire from the beginning. You took him from after his father had brought him to that status. This is what he told me. Now, I don't want to give up his ammunitions, but I know that he's going to
He's
be
all
coming with.
stupid fucked up. I
That's
mean,
what he
like
told me.
literally,
He
like
told me that.
I get that, but the thing is, you don't have to take my word. Everyone could just look on the internet. His dad wasn't his manager. It was Shelly first. No, who was it? Who was the first one?
Cameron.
Oh, Cameron.
Cameron.
Just
Yeah.
Cameron. His dad was
Jackie
the
was the first.
yeah, Jackie was the first. Sorry, Jackie was the first. Then it was Cameron, and his dad would never manage him. His dad was his trainer until 2008. From 2008 to 2013, 15, 13, no, 2008 to 2013, 14, or 15, whenever I had my kids. That was the only time his dad stepped back into a trainer position. In 2016, his dad was a head trainer when he lost to Walters.
Yeah,
So,
okay. See,
like, there's a huge
these are
gap.
good. I love it. You're like Tupac today, girl. You're like Tupac. Yeah, I love it. I mean, look, there's gonna be a lot of things, and you got thick skin, right? You're gonna need thick skin with Rick Glazier. He brings really personal shit out sometimes as well, and you're gonna have to be the same, baby.
I mean, that's fine, but don't come up here and lie when it's a fact. Like, you can't. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm gonna base things on fact. That's all fact. 2018 to 20 whatever. Whenever I had my whichever kid I had that he decided to come back into the corner because there was a family fight. It was huge. He walked
Okay.
away from his dad in '08. So from that point, especially the year when he won 2012 Fight of the Year, it wasn't his dad in the corner.
So,
He wasn't
can I
even
ask you
present.
before we get there? Are you the trainer and the manager?
I am the trainer and I would call myself a strategist more than anything. Like, do I hold mitts? No. But do I break down fights? Like, we could talk Bevel and freaking Zerto all day. Like, we could talk about, like what they did wrong, what they did right. Things that I'm watching that are tendencies. The Ubali fight was one of my best because of the fact that I studied Ubali for so long because of COVID. Um, that I didn't just look at the fights. I looked at his training videos. I looked at what his tendencies are. I looked at how he moves, what his go-tos are, his what is it called? The his habits that are ingrained in him that he cannot change within 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Those things.
Now, let me
So
ask you this: do you have the heart to tell your husband straight in his face? Like, do you sometimes put it on him, like some trainers do, or do you sometimes? I'm not saying there's a style for everyone, but are you very blunt with him sometimes? Do you really like, do you get that way with him or no?
Not sometimes, all the fucking time.
That's what I want to hear,
He
bro.
fucking stabs me in the fucking heart, man. Like, she tells it like how it's supposed to be. If I'm losing the fucking fight, she'll tell me and
The
curse at me.
champ
I'm like,
is here.
what the fuck is wrong with you? You're losing the fucking fight. I mean, she'll tell you straight up, man. Oh, by the way, shout out to you guys, man. What's up?
We got
What's
Nanito
up,
Donaire in
champ?
the
Well,
building,
no.
everyone.
Said
Everyone give him a
Nito.
shout in the channel and the panel.
Yeah, so she's really, really fucking blunt when it comes down to that, man. I
What
mean,
she'll
she's
look in
just
your eyes and say, "That's it, man. You got to do it this way." Like, is there those kind of firm talks between each other?
well, it's more like if she's telling me that I'm losing the fight or I need to do this, I trust her word in it because she's always been the person that tells it as it is. You know, she doesn't sugarcoat and tell me that, oh, you're doing okay or do this or do that. She'll go like, you're losing the fucking fight, man. You want to lose this fucking fight, then do the same thing over and over. But if you want to fucking win, you better get your ass and do what you're supposed to do.
like, so the Darkchanian #2 fight in, was it Corpus Christi or something?
Yeah.
Nonito had the flu, and I knew he wasn't going to look the same way that he has been through camp, but I wasn't in the corner. So tell me why in round 8, in between 8 and 9, he looked at me from his corner. He turned his head to the left. I was sitting in the front row, and I told him, "You're losing this fucking fight." And in the 9th round, he knocked out Darchinian. I don't know what was said in the corner. I don't know if they pushed his buttons that way.
Right. So, are you saying to me that most times since you've trained Nanito, the interaction and the communication has been where you understand him and he understands you, but sometimes do you see Nanito, he doesn't listen to you, and does it frustrate you in any way?
The only time that he hasn't listened to me was literally the Inoue fight when he got hit. When he came back to the corner, it was
Yep.
basically like a deafening thing for him where he wasn't listening. It was like people think like I told him to go out and fight on his shield. I knew he was going to do that. I told him to establish himself again, behind a jab and find your feet again, because I knew he was going to need a round to come back. But what do you didn't hear anything at all?
Yeah, he
No,
said
in
he
the
didn't really
round,
know
I want
nothing.
to ask
in the
Nanito on
round,
air then,
I
because
didn't
I'm gonna
hear.
ask Nanito a very blunt question. And when you lost, like the way you lost,
Hmm.
some people felt. Now I'm not gonna mention names, but if they want to mention it themselves, they can come here and But some people felt that you
But
know, is this on Rachel as well? And I'll tell you why. Rachel knows this. When you all win, the fighter gets the credit. But when you lose, the trainer starts to get it sometimes. Not just for you guys, from
Oh, a
everyone.
lot of
From
times, all the
Teofimo
fucking time.
Lopez, his dad is this, his dad is that. When and every
oh,
fighter
he did
loses,
deserve that
Anthony
shit.
Joshua, Robert Garcia ain't shit. They did say that. I heard a couple of people say, oh, man, maybe Rachel never gave him the right. The trainer also gets it. Do you agree with that?
Oh, that 100%, man. I mean, all the time when the fighter loses, they don't like to see how and why the fighter did whatever they did, and then they're gonna look into the trainer more most of the time. Again, we train for boxing. We box really fucking well in in the sparring and training camp. It was amazing. It's just that with the moment I got in there, I just felt like I just needed to just go. you know, I went off track right off the bat, man. For me, instead of boxing like we did, I mean, we boxed so beautifully. We had a great game plan behind it, and counter punching. I mean, it was a great game plan that Rage put together. It's just that the moment I got in there, I just continued the rounds from the 12 round. That was like a 13 round. I just kept going, and that was the biggest mistake for me. When I got hit at the right spot, I just went automatic. It was just automation where I didn't think anymore. I didn't even hear anything that they told me.
Oh, you mean after
Everything
the
from
first time? Do you say you were concussed? Was you concussed? Was you not yourself or what?
100%. I was gone. The first one, it got me at the right spot. I mean, I've been hit by his punch
Yeah.
in the past, and it just somehow, some way, just got me in the right moment at the right at the tempo where it hurt. Not that it hurt physically, but it blanked me out. You know, like if you look at the other fight or the other punches that dropped me, I got back up right away. I knew I got dropped, right? I knew what happened and I was fine. But the first one, I didn't even. I was telling the referee I slipped, man. And then I looked at Rach, and she kept putting her hand up, and I was like, oh shit, I got dropped. You know, so that's what happened. That first punch that really took um all the game plan. I mean, the moment I came in there, all the game plan was thrown off because I wanted a fight. But the moment that I got hit was at that time was everything just kind of like just what would I say? It just went into habit. It
Has it
just went
ever
into
happened to
habit.
you before? Has that ever happened to you before?
Never been dropped that way where I didn't know I got dropped. So that was just the perfectly time and time and placed punch. I've never been hit to a point where it was perfectly placed. I've been hit hard before,
Mm.
like Walters, way heavier guys got me in the back of the head a little bit,
Yeah.
or in the ear, where I knew I got dropped. I knew I got dropped, but it never went to a point where I went blank and I thought I slipped, right? So anything that's why when you see punches or fighters fall out
Mm.
when they get hit at the right spot and you didn't even think it was hard enough. But when they get hit in that right spot, man, they just take take you out.
What's it called? The aquarium. Aquarium on your head.
Equilibrium.
Shit.
Equilibrium. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
equilibrium, I was fine because I still
His
had my
feet stuff was
balance.
fine. Yeah. So it
Yeah, I
wasn't
was
as pretty
fine. My
annoying.
balance was good. It was just my head was concussed where it restarted my brain to where I was kind of like it was like a flash knockdown,
That's
but
a
it was
little.
severe.
What you got up
You
your
know,
fight off Buster Baby, probably.
I don't know what it was. It was just.
Answer Rap's question. Did you hear anything I said in the corner?
No, I didn't hear anything. I mean,
Now, so
all
then
I
I got
was
a question
inquiring
for. Now I
when
got a
I was when
question
I
for the.
was in the corner,
Yeah.
all I wanted to know was how the hell did I went down without me
Okay.
knowing?
So let me
And so I
stop.
just
Let me
kept
stop.
looking around in the video in the screen to see what happened. I mean, I was surprised myself that I got dropped. You know,
Okay.
and that's what happens is when you do get hit in the right spot, man, you just go off.
Because let's stop there, right? I just want to stop there. When the whole world watched that fight, when we saw you get hurt like that, normally a fighter like you with the experience, the knowledge, and not to mention having Rachel right there by your side. I'm just going to talk to you first, and then we're going to talk to Rachel about it. Is that at that point we would have thought, why are you not guarding up? Why are you not using the legs? Why are you not trying to get away? It showed me that you were still going in. And at
That
certain points, you were like, you were still going forward, like you were getting caught. And I've never seen you get caught that consistently, that quick. And I thought you might start to, weather the storm a little bit. But at that point, it makes sense that you couldn't even think about um, guarding up or moving away from it. It was just, you were just gone. You were just,
that was
um,
just just automation, and that was just me and my balls. That was just me and my courage. You know, it was just like I felt like I was, it was survival. It was fight or flight, and for me, is I'd rather die than run. That was just the mentality that I have. It's just I'd rather fight for everything else rather than run away. You know, but if I was there mentally, I would probably try to survive. I would probably throw a jab and set up and weather the storm. But going back into it was just all automation. I didn't remember a lot of the things after I went down the first time.
wow. And personally speaking, as a man, we have never seen you get stopped that way, right? That quick. And we also know that, this is boxing. One punch can change the game. And it definitely showed that one punch changed the game. And we know
100%.
we know you got a lot to offer. We know even if you had a trilogy, you're doing better than that. You're gonna do better than that. And I
I
feel like,
believe so.
yeah,
I believe
I
so.
believe so. But now I'm gonna ask Rachel. When Rachel, you've been training with him all them years, and
Hmm.
you seen now something. When did you know he's in trouble? Or when did you think, shit, my fighter's not on point now?
In the first round, in the first minute, like he wasn't moving the way that we planned him to move. Like, I mean, I always get like I get that, in the first round you're still feeling it out, right? But I also feel like the rhythm needs to be established. And so the jab that we were setting up and the way that he was positioning his feet wasn't what we talked about. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe he's just a little cold, right? Because, like I said, coming out of the first round with someone like Inoue, like you don't have, you have to feel out where he is. Nonito said, is the 13th round because they've been in the ring, before. So it was like, Nonito kind of just went out there like, oh, I know this guy. But for me, I was like, no, it's a clean slate. This is a new fight. Um, and then, it happened the way it happened. And hindsight's a bitch because if I hadn't, it was two things. If I hadn't said, put your hands up, the referee would have called a stoppage. Okay, that's one.
Hmm.
But I didn't know he wasn't there. Right. Like when we were talking in the corner and I'm like,
Hmm.
listen, I was like, you need a box. You need to stay behind that jab, move your feet, establish the distance this round and get everything back. I'm like, just, don't come into a firefight. Just stay at the distance and blah, blah, blah. He goes out there like,
But did you not say that he wasn't listening, or you didn't know he wasn't listening?
I didn't know he wasn't listening.
I mean,
What
I
do you
was
mean?
nodding my head.
He
He
was
didn't nod to you. He didn't say anything.
he was
No,
nodding.
I was nodding my head, but I was looking at the fight. I was trying to figure out things. I mean, again, it was just on that moment, I mean, again, for me, I didn't remember too much of what happened, so I was more curious of how the hell did I go down, you know, and and that was just all in my head. It's like I'm gonna get him back, you know. It was just me being in my balls. I said it was just my courage, It was just like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm just gonna go for broke. It was fight or flight for me. It was fighting, and I honestly I didn't hear anything that Bass, my cut man, said, and what she said, but knowing that I would nod my head and agree to that, because if I didn't, she would have smacked the shit out of me and say, "Hey, listen, motherfucker," you know, and get me back on track. But I was just kind of nodding my head because I was more focused in what the hell happened.
Now, one thing I'm going to say before I let others have their couple of questions. Everybody knows the respect, the integrity, and the respect that you have for your wife. We've seen it from day one. No matter what, you want her in your corner, right? And
Yep.
you trust her at this moment in your life. You you feel that she's the best thing for you, because every time I've seen that you appreciate where you are, you slipped in boxing for a little bit, but you feel like she's been the part of your encouragement and standing beside you all the way. So you've had a longer career. Would you agree?
100%. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for her. I mean, the way she maneuvered my career,
Right.
and the way I am mentally strong is
Mm.
because she allowed me to become that. She would always pose a question of why I did the things that I did, and I would have to answer those questions. Like for instance, when I after the first Darchinyan fight, when I became world champion, I really wanted to quit. And I met her, and I wanted to quit. I was done. I was done. I was like, here, Pop, I got to become a world champion like you wanted me to. I'm done. I did what I need to do for you, what I promised you, and then I'm done. But she
Mm.
had asked me, do you even like the sport, and why are you boxing? And for me, I was like, I don't know why the hell it took me so much years
Mm.
to, and kept going. Is it for really for my parents or for my dad, or is it really because I enjoy the sport? And so I went to answer that question, and then and realized I do love the sport. In all aspect that I fall,
Mm.
she's always kind of asking me the right question to really make me want to answer them. And how where my career is because of those questions.
Now it seems like we got to compare some of the people that we've spoke to. Now, when we speak to Tiafimo and when Lopez lost, Senior, they said that he needs to add somebody to his team. And when they fired Rubio again, people were like, well, he's they say though when they have trust issues, it's like they don't can't get along with other assistant coaches. Now, these some of these people like Halim, I'm gonna call their names, General, they've been saying it in this chat right now. Rapstar asked Nanito, is he wanna add anybody else to the team? Because they do this to Tiafimo as well, Nanito, right?
Yeah.
They do this to fighters when they lose. All the people, even the people who love you, they will ask you, like they've already asked me, is that are you thinking of having an assistant help within your team at the moment?
Well, one thing that needs cleaning in my team, in which I made a blunder on the last fight, was I relied too much on my father. He was always been my mid guy, and when we got together, I mean, there's no flow like I have with him. But that in itself is over and done with, is because for me, I have to really look out for myself, and if my dad can't be there, I cannot hope that he's gonna be there, because I don't control him. He's
But
my
what
father.
I
So
know everybody asks these questions and nobody asks you straightforward. Dad and you were in the game together in the beginning. I remember seeing your dad, and everybody who knows boxing were hardcores. We all saw your father and how he was right there. What is happening to that relationship for boxing? We're not going to ask you personal. That's your father. That's your, that's separate.
yeah, well, the
What's
thing
happened to the
was,
boxing actual relationship between you and your father?
I mean, my father and I are great still. It's just that, you know, um, in times that I need him in my big fights, he shows up or he doesn't. I mean, this time around he couldn't show up because he he knew I was fighting, but he opted to he know I was fighting my biggest fight. He opted to get his knee surgery when he hasn't gotten his knee surgery for like nearly 15 years, but he just chose to do it at that time when I needed him the most, and that was something that I was just kind of hurt about, but he said that he might be able to make it, so I kind of relied on him to still make it, and when it came down to it, he couldn't make it, you know. And so when I was in the corner, I tried to hire somebody over there to warm me up for the fight, but unfortunately, they wouldn't let a Japanese guy in my corner because I was fighting a Japanese guy, and so there was really
That's
nobody there
fucking
to really warm me
crazy,
up.
bro. That's crazy. They wouldn't allow you to have your Japanese coach that you were there with helping Rachel with this whole thing because he was Japanese, and they don't
No.
allow a Japanese fighter to be on the
Well, he
opponent.
was working for a particular promoter and everything else. I mean, he was a friend of mine, but they wouldn't allow him because he was Japanese and it would look bad. You know how Japanese, the way they think and everything else, it'll look bad
A
on the promoter,
Japanese
it'll look bad
helped.
on the business, it look bad on all of that stuff. So they wouldn't let him do it. But again, it was my fault because Rach was always telling me, you need a mid guy. Even before, and I was just always saying, you know what, let me just squeeze in a couple more weeks, see if my dad can make it, you know. And so unfortunately he couldn't do it, but it was the biggest blunder for my part because I came in there not warmed up, but I mean, not to give any excuses, I did get hit with a big punch that never happened in my life, where I blanked out.
Now, does
Wait,
Rachel,
wait,
does
wait, wait, rap,
Rachel
wait,
and
rap,
your
wait,
father,
wait,
has Rachel
wait,
and
rap.
your father worked hand in hand before?
Oh, well,
Or is that a
since
tough situation? Is that a tough
no,
situation?
since the boys were born, we opened up our door. But since the thing is where it started was 2008 when they separated. That's where it started, where we had to, go venture out on our own. That's where it started. And then this is just like after the boys were born, then it took a while for them to start working together again. But you have to ask him why they separated in 2008, not me.
Yeah, well, I ask always the hard questions.
No, go ahead, Rev.
You
No,
can ask me anything, bro. For
I
me, I don't ever hide what my
look. I'm gonna be
situations
honest
are.
with you guys. Yeah, there's only a handful of fighters who come here, and there's only a handful of people who come here because I do ask straightforward questions. I don't hold back. And
I don't hide anything, brother. So you be
yeah,
feel free to
yeah.
ask,
Well,
and if I can answer it, I will
I'm
answer
gonna
it.
ask. I'm gonna ask, but I'm gonna let Frank have a couple of questions, and then let Shavo go, and then I'll come back with some good stuff. We got over 45 people in the building. Hit the like button. We got my brethren over here, Nanito Donaire. We got Rachel in the building, manager, nominated as manager of the year, and she is trainer besides being manager for her husband. Go on, Shavo. Go ahead.
I want to ask Rachel a question. Uh, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you remember me. I talked to you on H show a couple of times. Um, you
I
said you would
can't see
have an
any
answer.
avatars. There's no
Oh, this is
avatars.
Rap
I
Star,
can't
man.
see.
This ain't no fucking hate show. Sorry, this is Rap Star, so we don't have it like
Uh-huh.
other people. But yeah, we'll do. We definitely gonna put avatars when Rick Glazier comes in.
Well, no. Well, I mean, like, who am I
Hey,
talking to? I
what?
guess is my point.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
talking to Chavo TV. Yeah.
Chavo.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember you. Yeah, what's up?
Um, you said you'll have an answer for me in about a week. It's been probably like three. I ain't been online, but I need a small pound for pound list from you. And then the second question I have is related to your career of about how what did you exactly do when like what was the steps you took to getting his career back on track after he was dropped from his promotional company?
Well, I mean, first I had to get paperwork and clearance to make sure that we were released by Top Rank because a lot of people won't talk to you unless you have that paperwork in your hand, right? To show that they're not going to
Mm-hmm.
be all of a sudden in a contract dispute or lawsuit for tampering with a contract. Did the same with Cameron Duncan. And at that point, I had to make phone calls. I was pretty much a sales telemarketer at that point, calling every single um, promotional company that was out there, besides Top Rank, of course, and see who still believed in him. And there were offers on the table, and I met with a lot of them. And for me, I felt like Richard he just always had this type of like energy and like about fighting for the fighters. Like he would tell you how honest it was, right? Like he didn't sugarcoat stuff. And to be able to call Richard was key for me. Like when, some people like how Top Rank is ran. I'm not a big person on like I ask you a question and you tell me to go down down the hall to the first door on your right kind of thing. Like I
Yeah.
want to be able to have a conversation with you so you understand where I'm coming from, especially if Nonito's career is tied into yours as a promotional company. So that's that was the first step. After that, we chased Nonito was still in the 26. We chased Frampton, that fell. And we realized very quickly between Frampton and Walters that Nonito he isn't that big of a person to be competing at the 26 level, because Nonito, shoot, when he was at 112, the highest he would go is 140. And then when he started really getting into nutrition and training smart, then as he went up the ranks, the thing is that he would start to hover around 130. And so he would try to gain the weight to be at 26. I mean, of course, he could just walk on and be a 26er, but he was never going to hydrate any more than possibly 32 the night of the fight.
Ooh.
So when we went to go see Carl in his locker room, he asked him, and Carl said, he was like, no, I'm probably about 145-ish, around about 150, somewhere around there tonight. And, I pulled Richard aside and I was like, we need to leave 26. And I was like, I heard there's a tournament at 18. He's like, Rachel, can you get him to 18? And I was like, I'm sure I can get him into 18, but let me ask him. And, we asked Nonito, and Nonito's like, yeah, I can make 18. And Richard, of course, like tilted his head, like, are you sure? And I was like, if he said he can make 18, I will make everything possible for him to make 18. I was like, so. And then the WESS tournament happened. After
Now
the
that was a great
WESS,
opportunity, wasn't it, Rachel? That was a great
it was an
opportunity.
amazing opportunity. Yes.
At that particular time, it was a major thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huge thing. And it was their division and Josh Taylor's division. That was season 2 of WBSS. So it was a really good, like, action-packed division. And you had, Nonito was the last on the roster. Or were you the last or Payo?
I think I was the last one.
It's either
Yeah,
how do you say his name?
Payano.
Or Nonito. I can't remember which was the last pick to get into the tournament. But Ubali was the one that was outside of the tournament. So we knew within the tournament there wasn't going to be.
I think Payano was the last one because they put
Payano?
him in there and they had
You were number
Payano in there. But they were waiting for
Uba.
oh no, me and Payano was the same because they were waiting for Ubali and Warren.
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't like Nonito was especially, I mean, can you imagine me petitioning to the WBSS, like, listen, Nonito can make 18. And he just fought at 26. Like, they were not believing that,
Yeah.
like, they kind of felt like this was going to be a waste of time because they were going to sign Nonito to this contract for the tournament and Nonito was going to show up not making weight. But yeah, I mean, like, that was the first one. Then after that, then it was, lining Nonito up for Ubali. And then that fight fell through with Rodriguez and realigning Nonito's for the Ubali fight and position and making sure the BC, mandates that they fight. and that the promoters are
Is that a
behind
hard fight
it.
to make?
If you say the right things, because of it's not when I start like my business side, when I start ripping up contracts and redlining stuff, then people understand like, oh, you actually read the contract. I'm like, yeah, I actually read the contract. um, then things become easier when they don't think you're just gonna sign whatever without reading the fine print.
I got one more question before the pound for pound. Have you ever considered, or have you before, if not, ever considered actually being in the corner? Like
Me?
actually being there? Yeah.
No,
Why not?
no.
You wouldn't?
I never thought I was gonna be in the corner ever.
All
Like
right.
it wasn't something like again, like the same way that I was just voted into BWA, I was tossed into the corner with the Ubali fight, and it was because of COVID.
You like this picture,
COVID, like
Rachel? I found it, yeah.
with a remote. Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
I mean, look, I found a picture of just you,
okay.
and now you are enjoying your life, living your dream over there.
Oh yeah, it's pool season in Vegas. Of course, I'm living happy. Now it's
Okay.
cold.
As long as you like that picture, we're gonna got a picture for you now.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I mean, the thing is like he's consistently always looked at me in the front row. Like take it back all the way to 2009, Raphael Conception. And for some weird reason, they show my face on the big screen. Nonito's sitting in his corner and he sees my expression. And I thought I was expressionless, but you said I looked worried or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He thought I looked concerned. So he's like, okay, something's going on. And so he stepped on the gas pedal with Conception. But, and then, you go down to the Darchinian fight. You go down to a lot of these fights where something is off in the corner. He looks at me and I just tell him exactly how it is. I'm like, you freaking losing the fight, blah, blah, blah. Like, even with the Magdaleno fight, he was with Solis then. And I looked at him, I was like, you're fucking losing, dude. And all of a sudden you saw Nonito change. He stopped this rhythmic, like, I don't know, timing of a boxing style that he was doing when he was under Salas. And he started coming after Maldonado. Maldonado, sorry. What the hell is Magdaleno? So like it's things like that when he's unsure of what they're saying, he looked at me. And so
Mm-hmm.
it just happened into my lap that COVID happened when he was supposed to face Ubali. And we
right.
couldn't depend on Kenny Adams because Kenny was going to every single other gym with every single other fighter. And then it happened that freaking Kenny 2 months later got COVID. So we were like, dude, we need to be in a bubble, like legit a bubble.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what doesn't make sense to me, Rachel, right? And I'm gonna keep it real. Nanito and you were coming off of a very good momentum, right? And you guys beat two unbeaten fighters back to back. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like Nanito Donaire wasn't prepared. This could be, we were thinking that Nanito is now at a place that, you know what I mean? He's been beating these guys up back to back. He beat Kabali and then that Nordin Gabali. I mean, both of these guys, you guys beat them, they're unbeaten guys, and then you go into a fight like that. How frustrating was it for you? Now that you're an official in his corner, how frustrating it was for you?
It was super frustrating knowing the time and the sacrifice we put into this camp. Like it was, months of training, game planning, looking over the footage, seeing like, okay, so what would you do differently? Like if you went this way, where does he look uncomfortable? Where did you capitalize? Like literally like just living and breathing that the first fight. And everything like, okay, what was the worst shot? The freaking body shot. How, let's defend against it. Let's work on defending against it. How does he set it up? Like every freaking thing we thought of. And it just, like he said, like it was this was the frustrating part for me, right? Is because he really he of course that's his dad. He really loves his dad. And they when they do mitts together, it is freaking magical. It is like music. It's beautiful to watch. It just flows. There's no one else that can hold mitts with him like his dad. But it's, the things is that, like, the Bali fight, he couldn't go, right? He didn't go to the Bali
Does
fight.
dad think that? Do you think his dad thinks that his son should have retired at some point or something? What's going on here? Does his dad think that sometimes
No,
Nonito should hang it up or what?
I don't
No,
know. I
I don't
Yeah,
think
that
so.
was something
no.
you should have asked him.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I don't know. But
I
I
don't
know
think
he wasn't there at the Ubali fight. And then the Gabayo fight, and this is they whatever, it doesn't matter at this point. Um these are the things that I have to deal with, right? Like I'm like, and he's like, "Where's my dad?" I'm like, he should be here by now. I look at all I start looking at the text messages and things like that, pinging, and I'm like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "Oh, actually, I'm deciding to drive in, so I'll be there tomorrow." I'm like, "No, Nito wanted to hold mitts tonight." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm driving." I'm like, "You had a plane ticket."
So he's
And he's
lost the
like,
passion somewhere. Some
Damn.
passion's gone. Is there some
"Yeah."
passion
So,
gone? Some connection gone between maybe him and boxing now?
well, him in boxing, and you have to also remember he has a whole different family than Nonito. He has
Right,
a 13-year-old daughter now. Nonito's half sister, I think is what you call it.
right.
Um, and they're back in the Philippines, but they were still here in the U.S. So, I was dealing with that frustration, right, at the Gabayo fight, and it still happened the way it did. Like it all came together, right? So it was fine. With
So
the
sorry, go on.
Inoue fight, it was the problem with the Inoue fight was it was, Nonito was still, it was like that Tuesday, like pretty much the Tuesday of the Gabayo fight, like holding on that his dad's coming, right? So that's happened with the Inoue fight. He's like, "No, my dad should be able to make it. My dad," I'm like, "We need to find another trainer." And he's like, "My dad should be able to make it." I'm like, "You need to find someone else that can work mitts with you." "No, my dad should be able to make it." Like, it's this, like, how do
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you
oh
it
say?
my
doesn't
God.
sound that doesn't sound good for your surroundings, knowing that Nanito is right there touching borderline. He's on an elite borderline. He only fighting the top guys. He needs the top stuff around him. I mean, he needs. I mean, don't you guys think sometimes, you know what, we're slacking somewhere? Like we don't really. We know we can get a little more people involved if we want. I mean, these are the conversations we've had with
No, I
Tiafimo
don't
Senior
think.
as well. You
No,
know.
I don't think, like, at no point. Let me just say that there at no point do I have ever said nobody else can come into the camp with us, right? I welcome so many different trainers. Kenny's there at the gym with us. We're talking while Nonito's sparring. We're looking at what Nonito's doing. I have Brandon Woods when he's in town. He comes in. We're talking. So other people are always like, it's not like I'm
Yeah.
the one thing I can pride myself on, and unfortunately it was my downfall with Rick Glazier yesterday, is I'm humble enough to know I need to learn more. There at no point do I think I know everything. And I appreciate and welcome everybody's knowledge that is willing
Yep.
to give it upon me.
Mm,
So, with that being said, the problem, whatever, I'm just bluntly say it, the problem is at the point in time was the emotional and familial connection that
mm,
wasn't
Mm.
being provided anymore,
right.
that was depended upon.
But you
And
guys
how
have
do
not depended. You guys won and started doing really well without that attachment. At some point, you moved forward, right? At the end of the day, you've been doing certain things moving forward, right? So it's not like you haven't accepted that you're in this together, right? It's not like
no,
you're
yeah.
saying, okay, we
At
know
that
that we
point in
got.
time, then I don't think she did. But a lot of fighters do
Right.
that. I think even Floyd went through that because I was gonna say I think it sounded like Nonito's problem at the time was just having someone he really trusts and someone to get you in the flow of things. like someone
Yep.
he really loved too. Which is, when you have an intimate connection with somebody, I think in boxing is a whole different thing. That's why he keeps looking at you. That's why he wanted his dad there. Even when you see with Devin and his dad, it's kind of, you kind of sound like Bill Haney, how he coaches too. He says he doesn't know everything. He wants people to come on, but Devin always wants him around. It's that
Yeah, but
comfortability.
yeah, but bro, there's something missing here, man. He's an older man with a 13-year-old daughter. He can also help his son and earn money for his family. Come on, I think many ways. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you'll get the answer if you just
Yeah.
ask him. He
Yeah,
was
well, this
saying,
is why I think
just
different,
ask
and
him what
I
happened.
ask the questions when I'm ready because I like to do it in a way when we start to get all other questions out. So, like I said to you, right? Him being a grown, older man, having a 13-year-old daughter himself, knowing that his pride and joy was his son at one time, how much he's achieved with Nonito, and you both became world champion together. He also needs you guys, I'm thinking, as much as you might have needed him. So there is a something going on there, Nonito. Do you not? I don't know. I'm looking at it differently here.
Nonito wasn't the pride and joy.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the connection for him, right? Him
No,
taking his son to be a world champion.
Nonito was not the favorite.
Okay.
It was his
So,
older brother. It was only until Nonito became a world champion that his father saw him.
oh, I don't know this now. You need to explain that to us, please.
His freaking
Yeah, this
his
is exclusive. This is something that we're hearing on Rapstar because
Oprah Rap
nobody else
Star.
asked you these questions.
It's Oprah now. Oprah Rap Star.
Yeah. Oh, Frank, I need you to come with some good questions soon, Frank.
Oh, okay.
I
Nonito
want this
are
one
both.
answered because
I,
Rachel's taking us now. I actually didn't know this. So go on, Rachel.
I mean, Nonito could tell you. I don't need to tell you how he was. I mean, he's the
So
middle
was it?
child,
I
but
know
here
Nanito
I
told me.
cannot.
Well, Nanito told me that his dad was like a military. His relationship with his dad was like his dad was very strict, like one of these commandments, and he used to give you military kind of orders. But I didn't know that his dad wasn't that much involved in Nanito because if his son became a world champion, for me, that's a father's dream, Rachel. Do you
Well,
know
that's
what
the
I mean?
reason why. That's the reason why. When I became a world champion, I gave him what he wanted, and I wanted to get my ass out of there. Didn't want to. I was done with boxing,
But Glenn was
you
the
know. But,
priority.
but growing up, it was always my brother. My eldest brother was the favorite. He was the golden child, and I was the kid that was very scrawny, always picked on in school. Always comes home crying, and my dad didn't really like the fact that I'm always crying about shit, because I get bullied growing up, and
Oh,
then
you got bullied growing up, like in your
yeah,
country?
no, in the U.S., in my country and in the U.S., because I was
Why?
very small.
Because you was a very small, slim guy,
I was very tiny,
tiny guy. How?
and for
What's your height?
and I didn't speak English at that time too.
So you're 5 foot what? 5'5", 5'4"?
Shit, my son's only 9 years old,
Uh,
and he weighs more than me when I was 12, 13 years old.
oh, so you were
you
No,
small.
know,
wait, Rap. Ask him how much he was. How much he weighed when he was 18. When
Yeah,
he
how
was
much you
fighting
weigh?
him
I was 102, 103.
at 18.
When I started professional boxing, I was 102, 103.
Bro, I didn't even know they made men at 102. Shit.
Yeah, well, I know, right? I guess I wasn't a
Whoa.
That's
man
the
yet.
real Manny Pacquiao story without the drugs.
Wow, man, that's crazy, bro.
But yeah, growing up, my dad was always behind my brother. Because my brother he was always the one that gets in trouble. He fights in the streets all the time. He gets suspended in school, but he loves fighting. So my dad was always like, "This is a man," right? For me, I was always crying. But I was a little child then. So I was never favored because I was really scrawny, and they never believed that I was going to be something. They always told me that I'm just going to be flipping burgers or something. They always told me that you're going to be like your uncle who doesn't
Wait, wait, wait,
who
wait.
can't do nothing.
Rap. When I met
God
his mom
damn.
said, "Wait, Rap." When I met his mom,
Mm.
and she was like, "Why are you dating him?" And I was like, "Well, this, and that, blah, blah, blah. He's handsome, he's funny, he's
Uh,
compassionate." She's like, "His brother looks better than him," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like,
oh,
Damn.
So growing up,
Ah,
growing
okay.
up, and I hear this every fucking time, you know. And granted, I'm not gonna blame them for what they've gone through, you know. But a lot of people would say it's fucked up because I grew up. My mom would tell me I'm the ugly duckling in the family. Everybody in the family would always tell me I'm the ugly duckling in the family. So you know, but it brought me to be who I am. I always, you know. So I'm always at the same time I'm always grateful for it
Wow. So
because it
they
brought
actually.
me to be very strong mentally, you know. But I was the ugly duckling in the family, and there was no expectation from my parents on my ability to become something. You know, they never thought that I was going to be good enough for anything, and they've always
So
said I wasn't good enough for
when
anything.
you finally done what you did in the beginning when you wanted to go boxing, how did that transition then?
Well, I went to the boxing is because I
With your
wanted my
dad?
dad to be proud of me. You know, I wanted him to see me that
So your
hey,
dad
I'm your
told you.
son
So your
too.
dad told you at the end, go boxing now.
When I started boxing,
Yeah, your dad told you to go boxing.
so when my dad said that he asked me um if I wanted to box because he was watching the fight and I was watching with him because you know we had everybody watching the same fight. It was Tuesday night fight in the U.S. and and he'd asked me if I wanted to box. I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna get my face busted up or whatever, whatever, right? So of course he gets, you know, he's laughing about it and stuff like that. You know, because I'm like, I'm never gonna go in the fucking ring, you know. But then when my brother started boxing, um he, you know, just my dad's eyes was just like lit up every time my brother fought, every time my brother trained. You know, that was his pride and joy, you know. And of course after a year I was just like, you know what, pops, I want to try it too. You know, at first I actually started off with karate, and then I transitioned to boxing. But the only reason that he was doing I started doing that is because first I wanted him to be proud of me, but it was to uh, get us away from the streets. That was his main thing, you know. And then my brother started fighting, and just he was just so proud of my older brother, you know.
Right.
And he asked me to
So
fight. I'm
you
like,
both went into the boxing academy with your father at the same time. Older brother, younger brother, everybody went into it same time. Is that correct?
my brother my older brother, my dad got into it a year before
Oh,
I did
so they
because I
were
was like,
one year,
I'm
one
not
year in
having
it,
any of that shit, huh?
1 year in it, and then you went in.
Yeah, because I saw how my dad loved the fact he was so proud of my older brother, and I wanted that as a young kid.
Mm,
I wanted
mm.
my love, the love from my dad, and I wanted him to tell me
Was your older brother a bad motherfucker? Like, was he a bad man too?
he was a badass growing up. Yeah, he was a badass. He was you know, he was a fighter. He was you know, he had a lot of balls. My dad was really proud of him.
They called him if Nonito was the Flash and he was the bomber.
Yeah, they call him the Filipino bomber.
Oh.
Because he, you know, he had that great left hook. He had that overhand left hook. He was, you know, he was getting everybody. So so
Oh,
for me, that's pretty much how I got into it. And the first time I fought, I peed in my pants so bad, man. I had peed in my pants numerous fucking
wow.
times because I was scared
Shit.
shitless, man. I was so fucking scared but I'm like, I gotta do this for my dad. I gotta do it for my dad. I gotta do it for my dad.
Yeah.
You got this, dude. I swear to fucking God, I was
You probably
peeing
whooped
like
his
I was
ass.
peeing, so fucking scared, bro. And then the
I
moment I got hit
guarantee
inside
you,
the ring,
before you say any more, I guarantee you hundreds of boxers have been in the same situation. But look at the respect, Frank. They
Yep.
wouldn't say what Nanito just said.
No.
bro.
That is you being the most genuine person, Nanito, because most boxers wouldn't say that. Boxers are even scared to say, "Oh, this guy hurt me, rap
Well, I
star."
mean,
You know,
you
that is
know,
respect.
for
But you're
me,
just saying, bro, I was scared when I went in this game and I even peed my pants. I've never heard that, bro. Respect
dude,
you.
I was so fucking scared of my fucking first fight, man. You know, my dad just trained me 45 days in the gym, and he was like, "You're ready to go." I'm like, Go to what? You're gonna fight?" I'm like, "No," you know. But when I got in there, I was in the locker room. My dad was wrapping my hands, and I was already like peeing here and there uncontrollably, you
Did you
know.
win the
And
fight though?
Oh man, so this is what happened. This is why I knew that I had the balls for it, even though I was scared shitless going into it, right? So I
Right.
walked in, I was scared, nervous as hell. The moment I got hit with the jab or straight, I just blanked. And all of a sudden I
Oh,
just
that's the worst
wouldn't.
thing you could have done. You was like novice at the
Yes,
time.
it just triggered something in me, man. It was a trigger. And when that trigger went on, I beat the fuck out of the other kid. I gave him like 3 or 4 8 counts, almost stopped him, and this, mind you, this is a minute in every round, a minute, because we were 11 years
Damn.
old. But I was I was giving him 8 counts. I was hurting him all over the place, you know. And I didn't even know at that time. I didn't even know I won until the decision when I got my hand raised. I just kind of blanked out too. It was just like, it was all this adrenaline that I've never had in my life before.
So that was the
So
biggest lesson you learned on your first ever fight, Nanio?
Yeah,
The biggest
my
thing
biggest
you ever
lesson.
learned. Mm.
Well, that's the craziest thing. Because for me, there wasn't no learning experience for me. It was
Right.
just me and just my survival instinct. It was just me trying to survive by taking the guy in front of me before he could take me. One thing I learned was there was something deeper within me, but I didn't really believe in that. Because I was still scared. It took me years and years. I was always scared to go in the ring, but every time I was in the ring, I always showed up.
Well, I'm going to say there's
it's
people in the chat. I got a brethren over here, Tony Boswell. He says, I have been a boxing fan for 35 years, and The Flash is an all time great. He is humble and has always been respectful towards the sport of boxing community. So here's an
Thank you,
older
Tony.
man giving you
well,
your
no, Nito.
flowers.
It seems like you have always chased this your father's validation as any son would. How did that happen? How did that like? Did you stop doing that at the point of y'all leaving each other, or how did that happen or make you feel in a way?
So
Was it a falling out of some kind?
how that happened for me was after my dad and I split, when I was in the venture of trying to figure out the answer of the question that Rage gave me, in why did I box, and how come I've been boxing for so long. And so when I came in there with that mindset, um, I learned to I learned to be the person, um, like as a fighter. I learned that I started to learn that I'm doing it because I love what I'm doing, you know. And that's when I realized, when I started venturing off away from my dad, that's when I realized that this is why I kept going, is because I love doing this shit, but I had to be away from my dad to realize that I was doing it for me, but the inspiration was I was doing it for my dad, to have to be, for him to be proud of me, because
Right.
I always wanted everybody to be happy,
So
because
you left them
like
to
they
find yourself.
said, right, like they said, the saddest guy is the guy that went through a lot of shit, right? Or the happiest guy is the saddest guy behind all that smile. Because I was always been to a point where it came to a point where it was just too overwhelming for me, um and with all my moms, what my mom would say, my dad would say, and how they would always, clamor to my brother if he won like, I would win nationals and I would probably get a pat in the shoulder. My dad and my brother would win uh a local fight, or a regional fight, or whatever, really small.
Mm,
And we would have dinner at a Chinese food restaurant.
mm,
you know, it was
Damn.
like that. It was a celebration when he won. But
mm.
when I win nationals and become the number
Yeah.
The
one
same
fighter in the
celebration
United
wasn't there.
States,
It wasn't the same
what's
celebration when you won.
no, I would get a pat in the back, and that was it, and when I win nationals, yeah, we would go in a restaurant and have a feast, but for my brother, when I win, it's like they already see me win all the time. It's like, it's nothing new or some shit like that. I don't know, man. But every time I would win, there was just nothing. It was like, whatever. But when my brother went, it was like, oh, let's go to a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
Let's have a feast. So it was like that with me.
So let's stop
And
here because I still need to touch on the brother. Whatever happened to the brother's career of boxing then?
I mean, he
What
fought a
happened to
couple
this career?
times. He fought a couple world championship, but he was always he never won the title.
But
Because
he actually reached
he
he reached to fight a world title.
yeah, I got to a fight with Darchinyan before Darchinyan fought me. He fought my brother, and
Mm.
he stopped my brother, and that's why there was such a great story with Showtime at that time, is because he knocked my older brother. He stopped my older brother, and then I came in to stop Darchinyan.
Mm.
Wow. So the story there was like, wait there, he beat my brother who was meant to be the bad man. He actually
Yeah.
beat the brother which the whole families had their big hopes up on, right? So he
Yep.
beats
Exactly.
the brother, what the father and the family says, okay, this one here, he's gonna do it. And then
Yep.
you come as the brother, what they didn't have not that they didn't have high hopes for, they didn't push it the same way. And here you come as a silent assassin and take that guy out, Darchinian. How was your
Yep.
relationship with your brother after you beat the man who beat your brother?
I mean, it was great for a while,
Mm,
and I was pretty much feeding the whole family, you
right.
know, and I pretty much did everything and anything that I could for them,
Mm,
even when I didn't have uh, anything left, because I spent it all on them. That when I met Rach, she had to work 2 or 3 jobs, and she would give those money to my brother and my family, without knowing that it came from her, not from me. And they would complain how little they think, how much they like, if Rach gave them something, they would complain about it. I'm like, this is all he's giving me. I'm like, that's in her head, it's like, motherfucker, this is not even his money, it's my fucking money.
Yeah.
So, but it came to a point where he's always relied on me and my family, and because of all the accolades, or the love that he got growing
right,
up, that he wasn't able to learn how to fight harder, you know.
right.
So you would say you had to leave your dad to find yourself, I guess.
Well, the reason why my dad and I split is because he always treated me like I was a 10-year-old kid, in front of, it was I was already with Rach at that time, and we were fighting against Methalani, and in the gym, in the top ranked gym, every time that at that time I had an asthma attack in one of the sparring session, and I had to get out of the sparring because I couldn't breathe, and he just started smacking me in front of everybody, like I was a little fucking child. He was
Yeah.
smacking me. He would yell at me in front of everybody, like I was a child, and
What? He
he'd
did never
toss
do
the
that to
fucking.
your brother though. He never did that
He
to your
never
brother.
did that to my brother, but he did that to me, and because my brother would fight him and yell at him back. I would
Mm.
never yell back at my dad. I was always the good kid to just never shut my mouth. He would toss
Shit.
the headgear in my head, toss my gear in my face in front of everybody, and that was it for me. I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with
Yeah.
this shit, and I walked out of that gym.
Um,
And from that point on, my dad and I split. You know, um, because I was starting to become my own man, because I started to realize that, I gotta grow up.
Mm.
But the way he did me that day was like, and I don't care about being embarrassed in front of everybody else, but it
not
was
your
a,
wife.
in front of everybody
Yeah.
that was there at the gym, smacked me with the gloves, smacked me with the headgear, pushed me around, talked to me like I was a little kid, and I just walked out. I'm like, I'm done, you know.
And then you
And
went on your own, like it was you and Rachel after that, was it?
yeah, it was me and Rach after that.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Right.
I still
Hey
I still
Frank,
want
where
you.
you
I
at,
want you to
Frank?
Yo,
answer
I'm
this
Where's
right here,
Frank
question.
man.
gone?
I'm right
Why is
here.
it that I'm not hearing nothing from you, bro? We
Oh,
got
I'm just
Nonito John
listening.
Air in the building, bro.
I didn't want to interrupt. It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a
Hold on,
great, and I've got two.
I want
I have
Rachel still
got
to answer
two
that question.
really. Yeah, all right, one sec, my brother. I got two other questions that I'm not gonna ask. I'm gonna let you go, Shavo, and then Frank, and let's go.
Okay, this is a question for both of y'all. I want you to answer too, Nonito. The top three or top five pound for pound?
Man, man. You know, I mean, I've fuck you. Goddamn. Well,
You can
you
think
know,
about it if you want.
huh?
You need some time with it, or what?
Yeah,
Right, that's what
yeah.
Ray
There's
said a
so
couple
many
weeks
things.
ago.
I mean,
You want
for
to
me, for a
answer that
long
one? You
time,
want to answer that one in a bit?
yeah.
Your
But I
top
mean,
three.
for
All
a
right,
long time, it was like Canelo was up there,
all
but
right.
I was always a Crawford fan. But because of all this shit that's happening, it's just like it's stagnant.
All right, but you're gonna have to answer it before you leave today. So we're gonna give
Oh
you a little
man.
bit of time to think about that one. And Rachel, Frank, I
Yeah.
want you to get some bars off, bro.
Oh, okay. Nonito, as you were telling the story, I have a son myself, a baby, and I don't think I would ever let him fight. But if he did, I'm watching you have such a unique style. I know you're Filipino American, so this is like a four-part kind of question. Uh, because what would you say that your father really instilled in you as a fighter? Because the way you fight is really unique. And did he ever fight before, or how did he gain his knowledge to train you?
So my father did a little bit of amateur background during the military time when he was in the military in the Philippines. But his favorite fighter was Sugar Ray Leonard, and so he based my style on Sugar Ray Leonard. Growing up, I just would just box. I wouldn't, that's how I won a lot of my fights early on, is because I wouldn't get touched. I'd move around a lot, and that's why people started calling me Flash, because no one could touch me, back in the days. So, but that's pretty much how my dad brought me into a style similar to Leonard, where it was boxing. It's in and out. It was combination. You know.
And so how do you teach you the rhythm and timing? Because I mean, you can walk in a lot of gyms and you don't see that. That's a really unique thing that a trainer can teach a kid.
Well, he'd show it to me. He'd show it to me, but it wasn't really explained. It was for me and my eyes. Like my eyes were like I was a mimic. So whatever I saw, because I wanted so hard for my dad to kind of recognize me, that I would show him and I would study it and I would do it on my own, you know,
Hmm.
and I would watch fights, the tape, VHS, I would watch them, I would watch them. I would hop around. I would keep getting better at it, and I ultimately when it came down.
Rap, you don't like spiders either.
Yeah, I don't like spiders, bro.
Well, these pictures have been coming to my fucking email from Australians since you guys have been coming on my channel. I have these emails coming from randomly that send this to Rachel. We would love for her to come. When are they coming to fight Jason Maloney? Spiders are waiting. Yeah.
Hell
No,
no.
These are the spiders, Rachel. That's in Australia.
No,
And let me tell
no,
you, the Australians don't care about these spiders.
I
Right,
care.
they
They don't
don't.
care. They pick
That's
them up.
wild.
Listen, they pick them up. They pick them up and they turn them around like frisbees over there. They're just
fuck,
crawling
Don't
dude.
they
around.
I'm
play with them and shit?
oh man, fuck that.
All right, keep it moving. But
What,
this was an
Yeah,
Australian
Name
picture
the
for
picture
Rachel.
then.
yeah. So
Rachel, these
so
pictures are for you. Sent from
so
Australia.
that's pretty much how it really came down to. I was a mimic. I was a mimic. And it wasn't. It was the way I was brought, that I had a mission to show for. Like my brother, an example. My dad would wake us up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do a run every day up the hills, 3 miles up and 3 miles back, 6 miles every day. So every time that my dad would wake us up, he would chase us on a car for a certain pace. Anything slower than that would get run over, right? But
Wow.
every time after 30 minutes, he would go and veer off to go to work, and that's when my brother would walk. Right when my dad was in there, my brother would walk. I would continue running. I would reach to the top, and I would come back while he was still walking up, and then he'll run back down with me. And that's the thing, was the hardship that I had to overcome, or the my big desire, my biggest why, to be known and be seen by my dad, allowed me to work harder than everybody else. It's
So,
something that, yeah.
oh no. So, what would you say that made him a great trainer to make you who you were? Like, what was his best attribute?
Well, he refined his training techniques. He'd also mimic fight, and we would watch fights, and we would do it on a mitts. You know, and it was just mainly me and my mental acuity to really kind of put things together. But my dad would do something. He would look into fights, and he would see something that he likes, like the counter punching or something, or body shots, or head movement, or whatever it may be, right? He would do that, and he would come to the gym and allow me to work that way. He was great at talking by showing me the fights, right? So he would show me the fights, and then we would talk about it in the gym, and oh, that's pretty much how I started learning, is because it was a repetition of seeing the movement and doing it in the gym.
Hey, you're
Okay.
a real student of the game.
Hey,
Because
Frank,
like, oh, go ahead.
can you take it for a few minutes? I'm going to change the
Oh,
device over.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, change the fucking picture. Okay.
I changed
So
it.
now this is great information because one of the hardest things that I had was learning to hook. It's just so you could break your hand, if you don't know how to throw a proper hook. So you
Yeah,
just learn that by watching, and you can see how to turn it over. I was taught to bring it over and keep the U and turn it over at the last second.
yeah.
So
I've never turned it over. I never turn it over. That's the thing, is, if you look at the bigger puncher like Mike Tyson or Trinidad, or even De La Hoya, all their hooks, they never turn it over,
And they're
because,
faster hooks than you don't.
well, it's a stronger hook if you don't turn it over. If you're looking at it right now, turn your do that hook, and turn your hand over, and feel your bicep. Is your bicep hard? Is your chest tense? Now, if you turn it back over, or if you turn it back the way it's supposed to be, all that is being utilized. All the muscle in your body is being utilized, and that's why it's so strong. When you're aligning those punches together, you know. So, but for me, the hardest punch for me was the left hook. It took me years. I have to keep looking. It was Arguello and Trinidad that I watched. Arguello,
yeah,
Trinidad, and
Tebow,
De La Hoya.
that hook was special. It was so fast.
Would you
Yeah.
guys consider training your kids, you and Rachel, together one day?
I mean, we train them just to train them, so that they can protect themselves. But these kids, they don't want anything to do with fighting.
Well, you say that. Like, so Jay, our eldest, he's naturally talented. Like, there's a video on our YouTube where he's actually throwing a left hook. Like, all he did was watch Nonito throw a left hook, and you see like the actual proper form of like hitting the bag. And so, like, he just, like, he sees you. He's almost like Nonito. He sees you and he mimics you. He, like, just picks everything up really quickly. So even with DJ, like, he's a DJ right now, and he watches like other people DJ, and then he picks up their like technique and style. So Nonito teaches him boxing. I teach him taekwondo, and then he also takes jujitsu classes, which people in jujitsu are like, he's had to have fought before. And I'm like, nope. And then they're like, how does he know how to do these chokes? How does he know how to do arm bars? And we're like, I don't know. We don't teach him. So I don't know if he's looking at YouTube, but he's mimicking really well. So freaking rap stars just trying to piss me off with these things on the screen. So
I want you to
so
see the
yeah,
Australian spiders what have been sent.
that's not even that is not a spider. That's like crab, I think.
Right. I
Maybe it's
don't
a
know
spider.
what the
Fuck
fuck
that.
that is.
So with the boys, like I said, like they're taught, to defend themselves. If they do a lot of the sports, they do all three of those, plus they have their music lessons, plus their straight A's. So they know within this household, if they want to fight, that's a different game. Like we allow them to, like do everything else, like not half-ass, but we don't really have an expectation. We're like, just have fun doing it, right? But fighting
Mm.
for us is such a different thing. Like, and we'll give them the choice. Like we're like, hey, jiu-jitsu, boxing, taekwondo, or run on the treadmill for 5 miles. And sometimes they'll pick run on the treadmill for 5 miles. Sometimes they'll want to do kettlebell. Sometimes they'll want to do battle ropes. Like these kids, like they're not like average kids. So I know if they want to be able to go into fighting, I know they're going to be competitive in what they do. Like my 9-year-old, when he was 6, he entered a triathlon in 3 weeks. He was like, "Mom, I want to run a triathlon." And I was like, "Yeah, son, we don't run, we fight." And he was like, "But," and I was like, "Okay, well, you know how to run, you know how to bike, you need to learn how to swim." It just so happens one of my friend's daughters was like the number 1 in the state for swimming, so she taught him how to competitively swim, and he got third. Did he get third in the triathlon?
Yeah, because his bike was fun.
Oh, but yeah, he got third in the triathlon only because Nonito didn't get him a shift gear mountain,
bike.
a real like triathlon bike. He was
I got the
literally
baby bike.
he was on a 1 speed, but it was
Okay.
sad. But yeah,
Okay.
Damn, he would have probably got first if he had had a real bike. Because anybody that's
I
ever
think
rode
so.
bikes before riding a 1 speed, yeah, 1 speed is fucking crazy.
I think so.
Getting third
I
place.
thought he would have beat. Yeah, he beat
no, he
everybody in the running
swim.
and swimming,
The swim, he was the first out of the pool,
and he was the
Okay.
smallest one too.
and he's the
So he
smallest.
definitely they got attributes. They definitely got the sixth sense
But
of being
are
something special.
so you saying if he did want
Yeah,
to fight, that would be one thing you would sit him down for and be like, you have to be serious about this because it's life or death.
for sure.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I don't sway them to fight, because you really have to sacrifice everything, mind, body, and spirit, man. You just really have to be there, you know, because your life is on the line. And and I want them to be good at something. For me, I just don't, I don't, I don't, I don't do mediocre. That's just how I
Right.
am. Mentally I am that way. I mean, nothing wrong with people wanting to, according to what they are, but for me, I've always just strived to be the best, because I was taught that way, because I wanted to prove to my brother, or to my dad, that, hey man, I'm here, I exist. And because of that wanting and that desire to be known or to be seen, that it was never mediocre. It was always to become the best.
Damn, I'm watching him throw this hook right now. How old is he right here?
Here.
Oh, my little, that was just last year.
Was it last year, 2 years ago?
No, we started the YouTube channel last year.
Okay.
All
Oh
right,
yeah, I forgot.
Nanito, let's go
So
here
it's
now
8 years
with it.
old then.
All right, Nanito, we're gonna go now here with it. When you were coming up in these boxing rankings and you were first coming up in the professionals, when did you know? Because you lost your second fight, am I right?
Yep.
Dude, I was
And
just about to ask that too.
look, see, Frank, you know what I mean? Rapstar comes with him. I keep asking you guys to take the panel, bro. But I gotta come with it now. You lost your second fight like a Bernard Hopkins, like some of the legends have lost. What happened after that first loss? And did you start to analyze anything, or did something happen that you said, okay, fuck this, I'm coming back stronger? I want to know
well,
first, what was your feeling like in your loss,
for
first
me,
loss?
there was an internal desire, and then there was an external, subconscious, and this in the conscious mind, right? Like when I lost the Olympic trials, I was pretty much done with boxing at that time, you know, and then I ended up going professional because Jackie had signed us as professional. Like I wanted to go to college because I did have a scholarship, but my dad was like not having it. It's either you're gonna turn pro, you know, and I wanted to quit boxing at that time too. So, I ended up doing it. And when I lost the second fight, I thought I was done. I was like, I told him I'm done with this. I don't want this,
Mm,
and
mm.
and I just somehow, some way, just kept going. And then we went to the Philippines. I won the WBO Asia Pacific, but I only fought that fight is because I just wanted to go home to the United States, um, and then I quit for a little bit. I started working at PetSmart, and so if you guys have pet food question, I got y'all. Okay.
So basically, that second loss, you took time out. Is that what happened?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, me and my dad was fighting because of
Right.
some family issues, and I was done. I mean, I didn't
Wow.
want to talk to him.
Imagine
I didn't
being
want to talk
done.
to him.
Wow.
What was that?
Imagine that. I said, imagine being done. I mean, you in your mind at that point said, maybe I'm done with this sport, right?
I was, and then and then I see Andre Ward, who I grew up with in training, and
Mm.
he would always bring me to the gym like, Nito, you I believe in you, man. So he always wants me to go back into the gym to continue my career. So that's pretty much one of the guy that really got me back into the gym or to boxing, because he would bring me to the gym. He'll drop me off from the house, and if I didn't have any money, or if he couldn't pick me up, and I didn't have any money back in the days, so he would drop a 20 in my bag to get me to the bus and the train to wherever I need to go. And that's how I got back into it. And then my dad got back together again because I was training.
So
And then
then you guys said, no, we're going for it one more time. Yeah.
well, it was just more of like me kind of just going with it, right? At that
Oh,
time,
so at that point, dad was going, come on, you got to do it. It's forcing you, saying you got to be
my
in
dad
this.
was like, yeah, my mom actually told me like, forgive your dad, just train with him. I want you to train with him. And I was
Wow,
like,
your
okay, I'm gonna
mum's a
train with him.
tough lady, bro. I'm going to keep it
Oh yeah.
real with you. There's not many mums who will tell their son, go and deal with it. Like, go in their ring and go. You know what I mean? There's not many mums like that, bro.
Yeah. And so I did. And although I wasn't really taking it seriously because I didn't really have that desire back then at that time. And then they would give me short notice fight, and I would fight. They give me a couple days notice fight, a couple weeks notice fight, and I would knock all these guys out. And Cameron Duncan saw, or he's one of his agent, one of his eyes saw
Mm.
me, beating all these guys that they had put against their fighter that had issues with their, that gave their fighter issues and a hard fight. But I was knocking all these guys out, and so and so
So when you came back, your momentum was strong.
it was strong. It was strong because I was the short notice guy, but I was knocking everybody out
Right. I
still.
know. I already know you were knocking everyone out because you had multiple wins, right?
Yeah,
And then you
yeah,
were just
and
winning and winning and winning. But when did you? Now you got back into it. You're feeling it. Is it? Are you feeling this sport now? Now you're now. When did
I
you know
wasn't.
that I'm a serious player? When did
I
you know?
wasn't. I
Huh?
wasn't. I wasn't feeling it. I was just doing it to do it. It was just natural for me to train hard because that's how I grew up.
Uh,
And so my brother Cameron was not gonna sign my brother alone because I was like, I'm done, pops. I'm done with boxing. In my head, I was still like, even though I was winning, I was like, I don't want this shit. You know. And so when Cameron was gonna sign my brother, there was a what's the word? A condition.
Yeah.
In order for him to sign, because my brother wanted to box, that's what he wanted to do. You know. And so there was a condition, and the condition was, if he is to sign my brother, I have to sign with my brother or
so
with
there
him.
must have been some talks that the younger brother is pretty good in the
Yes.
boxing circuit and the boxing fraternity. There must have been talks for Cameron to know this about you.
Right. So he has a bunch of scouts for all the fights.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has a
yeah.
bunch of scouts, and so after knocking all these guys out, one of his scouts saw me and told him, and that was his condition was, I'm gonna sign you give you all the fights, but your brother Nonito has to be in there. You know, I have to be part of the.
You have to sign.
I had to sign with him, with my brother.
Or you wasn't
Go
gonna
on.
sign your brother.
Yeah, or he wasn't gonna sign my brother. So, and I was like, man, I don't want to fucking sign with anybody. I'm done with boxing. That was me at that time, you know. And so my brother was begging me to sign with Cameron. So we did, and
Wow.
I
So
did.
in a way, it's a gift and a curse at the moment. But go on. This
Yeah.
is some good shit.
Wait,
Yeah.
Raph, we're gonna do an intermission real quick. Everyone's asking me about the spider story about
Okay.
Nonito.
No,
So
here's the
here's the
spike there,
spider
by the
story.
way. Go on. There's a
It's
spider.
not what you think it is, but okay. So imagine me. I'm laying on the edge of the bed on my side, facing opposite of Nonito, right? So facing the wall, and Nonito's sleeping to my to my back, but he's sleeping on his back. He can sleep on his back, and there was hair in my face, so I flipped my hair, and he freaking jumped out of bed.
Oh man, I jumped out of that fucking bed because I was like, I thought a spider jumped in my fucking face, rap. I swear to fucking God, I got him that fucking. I got up
Oh my
so
God.
fucking fast, man, because I thought a spider jumped into my fucking face. So yeah, that was the intermission.
Holy shit, bro. That's fucking mad. So look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. We're not all like the Australians. Even I don't like spiders, bro. And let me tell you, I bred pit bulls in England. Yeah. So I love wild animals. I love big animals. You know, I would love to have a little pet tiger if I could, but not to a certain age, probably. Once it gets older, I let it go or put it in a cage. But when it comes to spiders, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't like them. I don't like snakes. I don't like rats. I don't like mice. You know what I'm saying? I don't like these kind of fucking animals myself. So
So
look,
so wait,
to the
Rap,
Australians,
what kind of dogs do you think we have?
I don't know what dogs you have, but knowing you two, I'm trying to think.
I
You
got
know,
little
Let's ask
nowadays,
the
dogs.
chat. Let's ask the chat what they
all
think
right,
we have.
what dog do you think? Let me show you. Nanito Donaire and Rachel has. How many dogs you got?
I got
Two.
3, but
Oh.
2 of them are the same.
Okay, so
They
2
got
of them
little
are the
dogs, I'm
same,
telling
and you got 3 dogs. Okay,
Hmm.
come on, chat. What they got?
I said
What dogs?
you. They
Pomeranians.
got one big one
Whoever
and two
gets
little
it
ones.
right. Do you know what? Whoever gets it right, I should send them a Nanito Filipino flash shirt. That's what I should do, but I don't have one of those. Well, I got to get something like
People
that.
Probably got
just
a
have
Yorkie or
chihuahuas. Are
something.
you
Two
serious?
Yorkies.
Okay, Chihuahua.
Oh my god.
You got Chihuahua? Poodle.
No.
Okay, no poodle, no Chihuahua. Go on.
No.
All right.
Great Dane.
Alsatian.
No.
No, no,
No.
Doberman.
Nope.
You don't have a pit bull.
No.
You know, a Jack Russell.
Close.
German Shepherd is a
Nope.
good
No
Can't
Jack,
have two of them,
no
though.
Jack
Yeah.
Russell, no Jack Spaniel. Hey,
Nope.
what's the dog? What's
Nope.
that little dog that the Queen's got? Well, what
A
God bless the
Pomeranian.
Queen.
I said a Pomeranian.
A
No.
greyhound, not pit bull,
Nope.
not a
A
Shih Tzu.
pug. A pug.
Nope.
Hey, well, I
Wow.
gotta
Wow,
give
we're going
someone a
all over
gift.
the
I
place with
gotta
this.
send
Nope.
someone a gift for this one. A
Nope.
Labrador.
Nope.
What fucking dog did you go in?
oh, a
Fucking
bully
is it
probably.
Oh, a
is
Shih
it a
Tzu. Yeah.
fucking inbred?
No. Pure.
Dalmatian. It's a Dalmatian.
Nope. Nope.
It's a Mastiff.
Dude, you're just guessing.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. There you go.
It's a wait.
Damn, they got the
It's a
You're
biggest
someone
dog
Mastiff.
they
that Tip
can.
Bayless said Katie Corso.
Wait, who said that? Oh,
Katie
Tip
Corso.
got it. Tip got it.
Oh shit! It's a Caney. What you got? 2 Caney
Oh,
Corsos?
those dogs are beautiful.
Yeah.
2,
1 for
Especially
each
all
of my
black.
boys.
and
Yeah.
then what's
Well,
Yeah.
the
we have
third
What's
dog?
Brindle?
we have
All right,
Brindle
don't
Blues.
tell us the third dog. We still got another dog,
Oh,
right?
this one you won't get. What?
Yeah, you won't get this. This is my very first dog.
Oh, okay. There's another dog, and this was the first dog, and they're
And they
saying
haven't
you're not
named
gonna
it
get
yet. Then they
Corgi,
haven't named it. Nope.
Corgi, Rottweiler.
Nope.
Is it a wiener dog?
Nope.
What's those wolf-looking dogs called?
Oh, yeah.
What's that wolf-looking
Talking
dog?
about a husky.
Husky. That's right, bruv. Husky.
Nope.
A
I don't know
Japanese
too many
Akita.
dogs.
Japanese
You're
Akita.
getting
She
close.
kind of. I think she already said it.
Oh, okay.
You're
What is
getting
it?
close.
Well, if she said it, what is it, Shava?
I think she
No,
said
I
a
said
Brindle.
no. That the brindle was the
The
Corso.
King Corso, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
it's
Hey,
close to Japanese Akita.
Yeah, it's close to a
hey,
Japanese
those
Akita,
Japanese Akitas are beautiful, like Tip said. Beautiful
but
dogs.
it's close to
It's a
it.
small dog then, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
smaller one than Akita, yeah.
God damn, there's a million different small dogs. I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah, but
We
it's
already
in the
told you
family.
it's in the family
It's
of
a
the
family of
Japanese
Akita.
Akita.
It's a Japanese dog.
Man, whoever gets this one, I'm definitely want to send them something for some reason. But this one's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Damn, that's the only Japanese dog I know.
Man, we gotta get him a ticket to Nanito's Nest and fight. Who has got the answer? Who the fuck's got this answer? I don't want him to tell us yet. Black Pug.
Nope.
A Shih
Literally
Tzu.
the same line as Japanese Akita.
It looks like an Akita, but
He
smaller.
said black bug.
That fucking Chip Bayless got it again, dude. Rob, you have to send
Oh, Tip got it again. Shiba
Shiba
Inu.
Inu.
What is it?
Shiba
Oh
Inu.
shit! Yeah, I've seen that dog.
Oh, look at that, Tip. Hey, Tip Bayless. We definitely got to get you something soon, bro. You answered both questions. We need to
Okay,
get
here's your
you. Okay,
bonus.
this is what. Can I
Here's your
do this
bonus
for?
dog.
Can I do this for Tip Bayless? He's a
What?
boxer. He always trains in the gym. If I get one of his gloves one day over to you, will you get Nanito Donet to sign it?
Yeah.
100%.
All right, Nanito, we got to get Tip Bayless boxing gloves signed with your name, man. He got both of those dogs.
Okay, last one.
What?
I have a dog in the Philippines. What kind of dog is it? And none of you guys have named it at all yet.
Oh my God.
God damn, this is getting harder and harder. Just bonus round.
I have no
And
idea. I don't know
considering you
many
guys,
more
and
dogs.
nobody's
Hey,
named
y'all said a lot of dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Said a bunch of dogs.
But you haven't named this one
Yeah,
yet.
I'm a cat
named
person.
it yet.
Okay, you
I'm a
gotta
cat
tell us
person.
big or small.
I have
It's
to
like
say
medium.
medium. Medium to large. Yeah.
Like knee above the knee height.
She's above the knee.
Napoleon Bull Mastiff.
No.
No, that's too big. They're
No,
big.
that's a
They're
big ass
That's a
dog.
big.
Hey,
That's a
but her
big
knees,
dog.
her knees is very short, so
American Bulldog. It's not an American Bulldog, is it?
No.
Is it a bully?
No. This is fun.
Damn. Short leg. It's is it a terrier?
No.
Is it
Taller,
a
it's
street
bigger than
dog?
a
Is it one
terrier.
of them street dogs? Yeah.
No, but it could look like it. Well, it depends on what street dog you get, but come on. Not a collie.
Come on, chat.
I don't know anything about dogs.
Tip Bayless on Google right now.
yeah.
That's the only
Keep
way
going,
he
like-
doing this shit. Damn it. Short legs.
No. No, not
Short
short legs. No, Nito's saying I have short legs. It's a medium dog.
It's a fast dog too.
Okay. I was like, what?
It's a fucking fast ass dog too, and it jumps like hella high.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's like
is it? Oh, what? Well, I don't think you have that dog. Could this dog possibly race?
No.
Okay.
But it's fast as shit, and it jumps hella fucking high. It be flying all over the fucking place.
Shit. Don't know what's going on.
Damn
I
it.
think. Okay, are we
I'm
all
stumped.
conceding for the first time? Because I
Right.
know. Listen, my guy Tip Bayless ain't let me down so far.
Nope.
I give
Nope.
it-
Nope. Tip hasn't gotten it yet. Nope.
Oh,
No one's gotten it yet. You haven't
wow.
even mentioned this dog.
Yeah.
And is it a common dog?
It's a mean ass fucking dog.
But is
It's
it a common
I
dog?
would say
It's
European dog.
Is it common in Europe or anything?
It is.
Huh?
What? Because
You said
it's
it's a European dog?
I would say somewhere in the Europe. Yeah, I think
Is
so.
it a common dog though, or not many people have this dog?
it's a common dog for security.
So no Dobermans, no German Shepherds, no security dogs, bro. What else is a kind of like a security dog? What fucking security you gonna get out of a corgi, Alan? You know
Oh no,
corgi's gonna give you a security,
I'm about to
Alan.
say a golden retriever, but I don't think so.
A border collie.
No.
They're nice. Right.
I ain't gonna get a corgi to be a security dog, are you, bro?
Right, you gonna get
Taller
Like
than a
robbed,
some,
corgi
motherfucker.
for
They're gonna take the
sure.
dog too.
it's not a shepherd. It's not a
We
shepherd.
already named the shepherd.
No. It looks like a shepherd.
Ah, for fuck's
It's,
sake.
you saying it's not a husky either, right?
Nah.
Nope. It looks like it looks like a German shepherd.
What the hell? Oh,
You
I don't
got it.
think I know the name of this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You say it right. Say it right. Say it
Alibi
right.
dog. Is it that
Isn't
dog?
it
What
like
Hal in
a?
Boston said.
I don't think this is a German dog though. Isn't this like a It's somewhere hot where they have this dog.
It's not
close.
German.
It's close to Germany.
Damn, he's sending me on witch hunts and shit. Like, what?
There you go. Joker got
Joker
it.
got it.
A Malinois.
What is it?
The Malinois.
The Malinois.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking of.
Wow.
It's like they could jump on freaking roofs
That
and they
motherfucker can
tear.
hop. That motherfucker's hopping.
They can tear people apart. Like,
God
yeah.
damn. Oh, that's the perfect dog to keep over there.
Yeah, so she's over there when we're not there, and then we have the two So the Shiba Inu was Nonito's first dog, and then the Corsos was every time I got pregnant, we bought a pup. So they
do you
grew
know?
up with the boys.
Do y'all know
Yeah.
why we got the Shiba Inu?
Oh, that's your little
Y'all
story.
was together when you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got together, but the story was mainly for me. How this Corso, I just love, not Corso, this Shiba Inu had like kind of like a similar
Emotional
story to
support
me.
dog.
So let me ask you this: is this the dog? Is this the
Yeah.
dog?
Yep.
That's
That's the
the
one in the
dog.
Philippines. You
It's a
gotta show the
beautiful dog.
Corso.
Yeah, I know, but this is a beautiful
Yeah, the
dog.
Corso is
Dude,
gorgeous.
it's beautiful.
See, that
Especially
I
with
don't
the
know,
black
dog. So
coat.
that looks like a German Shepherd to me. That's what I would think.
But a smaller
No,
one
it's a little
though. It's a
too
smaller
small.
one.
Yeah, it's a
But
little
he's
too
Shorter
fast.
small.
hair.
He's
So
a fast
Belgian.
one.
They're
More
Belgian
black
Malinois.
around the face too.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
a
like a
nice
tear
dog.
your ass up though.
It's a
Thing.
Belgian.
Oh,
It's a
Right.
dude,
Belgian.
yeah.
Belgian
They're
breed.
shredders, man. They're shredders.
It's a
They'll
Belgian
like
breed.
you jump a wall, they'll jump the wall.
Oh hell no.
Right. Where are you going?
There's some
Exactly.
beautiful
Damn, so
dogs.
when people come over, just be jumping on them like, hello.
No.
All right, we just
They're all
dedicated.
trained.
We just dedicated 30 minutes to dog. We love dogs. We do love dogs, but we should
No,
do a
I'm not gonna
live.
let you
Just
go until you show what a King Corso looks like.
oh, here we go.
Right. The
Rachel.
Cane
All
Corso
right,
is gorgeous.
let's go. What is it? The King Corso.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny Corso.
CANE
Danny
space
Corso.
CORSO.
Try to show a
The
black
King.
or a gray one. What
The
color
blue
is
brindle.
yours?
Blue brindle. Blue.
Oh.
Actually, the youngest, the baby, the one that protects my youngest, his name is Blue, from like the raptor in Jurassic Park.
There you go.
Aw.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah,
dog.
he
That's a
looks
black
kind
one.
of
Yeah.
he's
Oh hell
smaller.
no.
Dude, look
Well,
like
look at that dog. He's
I'm
big.
not going near that thing.
And that dog looks as big as a Napoleon Bull Mastiff to
Hell
me.
no.
They're
That
big.
dog
Yeah.
no,
looks as big.
Mastiff
Yeah,
is
my dog.
huge.
My dog's like 110, I think.
Yeah.
And you got two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll walk around the
What's their
outside
names?
mall with
Bonnie
them.
and Reggie. What's their names?
With
Xena
gold
and Blue.
chains and a visor.
Yeah, they're serious dogs. They look good, man. Look
He
beautiful.
said gold chains in the
Hey, but
blazer.
they're fucking loyal to the T, man. Those dogs are loyal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proper.
Oh yeah.
They're actually recommended to get how they got them like as a
Hey,
pup with a
that's
kid.
my brethren over there. Shadow
Yep.
Band says he got a
They'll kill
quiety
for
wolf.
somebody.
A quiety wolf. You know what quiety wolf
Oh,
is?
Coyote Wolf. Oh
Coyote
yeah.
wolf. Yeah.
Dude, we were offered to get a dire wolf when we were in Belfast.
Yeah. But
But
anyway,
y'all couldn't bring him
I'm
back.
gonna still get you a pet spider, Rachel.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. No
Ugh.
thanks, motherfucker. I can't do
Right.
spiders, bro. I cannot do spiders.
He gonna
Shit.
send a spider with the glove.
No,
Hey,
well,
hey,
listen,
one time,
listen. They got if
hey,
they're gonna
one
fight
time,
Jason Maloney, they're going into
yeah,
the spy. If it's in Australia, they're going to the spider capital, where Australians have spiders like different kinds of huge spiders out there. You know?
bro, one time I got bitten by a brown recluse.
Wait, was that before the volley
Whoa,
fight?
what the hell? How did you not die?
Yeah,
Wait, I think it was. I gotta look back, but
yeah.
I think it might have been
Before
the
the
volley
Obali fight,
fight.
my knee was all fucked up, man. It was pus coming all over the fucking place. It was nasty.
Oh
It
How
hurt
did
shit.
like
you
crazy.
get to the spot quick? Like you got to the hospital quick, or
No,
No, I didn't even know.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know because I got bitten, but I was playing with the kids. I got bitten. I was hiding in a tree, and then I felt like I thought I hit a branch. I was like, oh fuck, that should hurt.
Hey,
And then
listen. Go on. Yeah,
No,
was
and
it
then
all
yeah,
pus?
so
Did all pus build up and shit?
yeah,
yeah,
swollen.
Yellow,
you know,
yellow pus and all that.
I was still training at that time, and every fucking day, there's a vein that cause I got bitten in the knee, and then there's vein that was coming up to my legs every day, was going higher and higher up to my hips. And so I went to my doctor. I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck happened. I think I got bitten with something. I got this big old fucking a swollen knee, you know, with a little eye in it. But like this little vein that was coming up to my hip was rising every fucking day. And I was like, man, I don't know what the fuck happened. And they got me into like
Antibiotics.
the strongest antibiotics, the two strongest antibiotics they could find for me.
what the
Yeah, I
hell?
believe you, right? Because I was on business trip with my friend, and we went. You know, like little mosquitoes and shit. They don't do nothing to me in England. But I went into from Hong Kong. We had to go to mainland China, right? So when we went in China, all of a sudden, I see my friend. Yeah, he got this mosquito bite. You don't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all getting red. It's all getting red. It's all getting red. After 3 fucking days, the fucking thing's a golf ball.
What?
Right?
Wow.
Listen to this. The fucking same Chinese little mosquito is fucking making pus and everything on his arm.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
guy,
Man, bro, that
and
is
I
not
don't
a
know
fucking
what's going
mosquito,
on here,
man.
bro. I don't know what's going on. The shit's getting big and it's blistering up. It's getting yellow. Pussy is all coming out. This man
Oh,
started. Listen to this. We were at 4 or 5 days. I had to go see some factories, you know, for business for what I was doing at that time. I come back. I said, listen. He goes, look, man, I'm not feeling well. I said, what happened? He goes, obviously we knew there's nothing. It's only a bite. We're thinking it's only a fucking little bite. After the third day, he's got all pus. He's got fevers. So what's going
You
on to
got
this guy?
malaria or something?
This shit caused him such an infection that the man was having 105 fevers and shit. He had to go find a Chinese doctor, go get help while we were out there doing business. And he was out of action for a fucking week just because of a
damn.
mosquito. Right? So you
I don't
don't
know if
know
it
if
was a
you get
mosquito,
bitten by
bro.
the wrong
Right. I'm like, I'm
mosquito,
not
bro.
sure that sounds like a
Hey,
mosquito.
rap.
I'm
That is
from
not a
Texas.
fucking
There's
mosquito,
plenty of
bro.
Bro, it was on
What if
his
the
arm.
mosquito was carrying some type of some type of infection or something? Because they
oh,
carry all
Yeah,
that.
it
well,
was
rap.
carrying
But
You know
some
that
bacteria.
Nonito.
He left
You
it
know,
for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Nonito was hospitalized with dengue for a week.
Well, there you go. What's that?
That's like the West Nile virus of the Philippines.
Yeah, it drops your platelets to a point like for people, a lot of people who dies from it, like they start bleeding all over the place because their platelets is gone or low. It's crazy shit.
That's mad. But anyway, let's get back to boxing, right? Because we still got
He
quite a
said
lot of fans. We've got
right,
gruesome
I need
shit,
y'all to
man.
answer that to that pound for
to
pound
dogs,
question.
but I still
Okay,
haven't
pound
finished
for
with
pound.
your boxing because I got to get to
Yeah,
Rachel.
pound for pound,
We're
either three
we're
to
no, we're
five.
gonna do the pound for pound, but
3 to 5.
we're in this situation right now. You've nearly explained the whole life story, right? We're at this point now, but we haven't got Rachel there yet. Now, when you was coming back in boxing, and you were still now knocking people out, your mind. Your heart wasn't in it, but your mind was doing it for your father. At the point when you will keep doing it, when did you know that, wait there, fuck all this, I can be a world champion? When did you know that you could be a world champion? Or was that something you went into without thinking or knowing you were going to do it? Or did something tell you in your heart
Didn't think about it.
that I can do
Didn't think
this?
about it. So when I got into it, you know, I was doing it because of my brother because I was gonna get signed or he was gonna get signed with Cameron, but I have to be in it. So I signed with them, and then they were giving me fights. They were giving him fights, and then they got my brother the title fight with Darchinyan, and Darchinyan knocked him out. And so I was the next fight after that because um they were looking for a fighter to fight Darchinyan because at that time Darchinyan was 28-0 with 24 knockouts and shit like that. He was knocking everybody out. And so they asked me if I
So
would
you went
be
in that
willing.
fight. I need to stop your mindset. So you went in that fight saying, I don't know if I can win, but I'm going to give it everything. Like in your
No,
mind,
I never
was you
really thought.
50-50 in your mind or what?
No, the thing was I didn't really give a fuck. That's the thing was with me, I was just like fuck it, whatever, right? This is good money. Like for me, I didn't really give a fuck whether I became a world champion or not. So when we were, but my brother and everybody else, my dad, they believed that I was gonna beat him because I was just too fast, and too smart, and we trained hard for it. And so during the fight, of course, I was getting nervous and stuff like that because this is the guy that was knocking everybody out, knocked my brother out, and and then it came to that point where he was very disrespectful. He was shit talking me all day, the whole week, and he during the press conference he brought a helmet from the museum in Australia, a knight's helmet, and he brought the helmet and he was explaining that even with this helmet he said that I need the helmet to wear, but even with the helmet he'll still knock me out. That's what he said. And to me at that time I was young, so I was like fuck this motherfucker, I'll knock his ass out. And so at that moment I didn't give a fuck about anything else but hurting him. It didn't about winning, I just wanted to hurt him. And so I stick to the game plan. I was hurting him throughout the fight. And then that last round when I dropped him, in my head it was like get up, because I wanted him to to get I wanted to punish him some more.
Right.
And when I realized I was a world champion, man, that's when I went ballistic.
So really it all came to you like afterwards, like it was a dream or what? Like, okay, I've done this now. I fucking became world champion.
Yeah, and after that I was gonna tell my dad that I was done.
What
I was
again?
yeah.
After
You know
doing
the times he's tried to quit.
I didn't I
And you
listen,
know
Rap, I
what? At
didn't
some
really
point,
care.
even though I know your dad wasn't easy on you and he never treated you the same as he meant to treat his other son, but I think in this respect, it's worked out for you because you were really quitting many times. Like in your mind, this wasn't what you were going to do, but you became a world champion and
Yeah,
still wanted to quit.
yeah, I was done. It wasn't
Why?
for me.
You just reached
It,
the highest point in your life. You are
but
now a
to me,
multi-million
it
dollar
wasn't.
fighter. You can now be $1 million fighter or something.
To
Why would you
me, it
want to quit
wasn't. It
at that
wasn't
time?
something that I clamored for. I just wanted my freedom, right? Like I felt like I owe my dad to get him the title, so I was like, take the fucking title. I'm done with it. And then of course, Rach came into the picture and asked me those questions of why I box, and throughout the years, I started answering those questions. That I love boxing, but for a long time, I've always felt like I did it for them. I did it because you know I owe them. It wasn't really for me. And when my dad and I split and I started doing it on my own, that's when I really loved the sport.
So when did you really? That was the time you actually gripped it and you knew, okay, I want to do this now because I like this is what I want to do.
I mean, after on the venture after when my dad and I split, I ventured to answer that question, and so every fight was an answer for me, and every time I got closer and closer to myself in loving the sport, that I love being in the gym. I used to hate being in the gym. I fucking hated the gym for a long time.
Right. So
And
yeah,
it got me to a point that I answered my question in 2012. And that's why, and it was just more of like in was it was a Japanese guy.
Nishioka.
So Nishioka, and if you look at the fight, I don't know what round it was, but I already told the guys that I was gonna retire after this fight.
Yeah, here you go, quitting it.
But that was me. That was already me answering my question that I love the sport, right? And so that was in 2012. I already had my answer. I was one of the best fighters in the world. I was one of the top pound for pound in the world, and everything that was in line with me. I already told the HBO panel that I was going to retire this year, which was 2012. You know,
So why did they keep haunting you to retire?
no one's haunting me. It's just for me. It was just me when I answered that
Why
question.
was you doing that to yourself? So, like you reaching the top heights. I'm just funny. Like the people around you, did they not say to you, you can make a lot of money? Did money not mean anything to you to get to that status?
That's the thing about me, rap. And when you get to know me more, money is nothing to me.
So
You
money
know,
don't motivate you in the ring.
money never ever did motivate me. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I can make $1 billion, then I
Mm,
would. But that would be something to help others, right? Or
mm.
or to do something bigger that
Yeah.
other than myself. But money has never been a motivator for me.
Like not the problem, but I think what he's not saying is, his first goal was to get a world championship. Then he got that. Then he had to find himself again. Then his second goal was to become fighter of the year, right? In 2012 he got that. He knew he had that. So when you don't continue to find another goal, then it becomes monotonous, and there's like, what are you striving for anymore? Is it just for the next fight, or do you have a goal in mind? So he kept hitting these ceilings when he hit the goal. He was like, okay, now what?
Right. So basically, it come to a stage then in your lives that why are you still in the sport? If money didn't motivate you and you reached goals, with goals, money came, right?
Hmm.
And now, why are you in the sport then?
Well, now I have a goal. I realized that when I realized that what I am in my life was I've always had goals. I've always had purpose, right? And fighting for me now and achieving something in my time, my career is something that motivates me to get up and train, right? It gives me the purpose to enjoy my life, and take care of my body at the same time. One thing that I've achieved everything in boxing except becoming the undisputed champion of the world. I've got to a point of unified champion, multi-divisional champion, multiple world champion, fight of the year, knockout of the year, you name it, and so the only thing that I want to accomplish every accolades that I have in boxing is becoming the undisputed champion of the world, and that motivates me like crazy, and that's why I wanted to fight anybody.
So you still have the same more motivation now than you even had like before. Like you still in your mind, the way you see it is that you still
100%.
want to
I
get
love
more.
training.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I love training. I love working out, and to me, um, like my mindset is different than I was back in the days. And now that I'm having this conversation and studying my way of fighting, I realized that the reason I was so good back in the days because I could move from being cautious to being courageous. This time all courage, but I lack the cautiousness. And this is why I get caught with stupid shot instead of being cautious like I've always had when I fought Darchinyan, you know, that now I start to realize how can I recover that cautiousness and awareness rather than being all up in the courage. A little too much of everything is bad, right? They said. So the more courage that I have, the more that I don't fear any punches. I don't care too much about anything. But when I have cautiousness and awareness, it allows me to show my true self in transitioning from the courage to cautiousness, and I think that's something that I was missing in this time rather than what I had in the past was I was young, hungry, but very aware.
Right. And would you say that you I mean, what? How old are you now? 40.
40.
But you ain't looking at a time frame now in the sport. You're just gonna go with yourself, see where you can go and what you can achieve, and what more you can add to your legacy. Because you've already got a legacy. You already got a Hall of Famer. Your first ballot for me. You want to go and achieve something for yourself inside of you. You're trying to be. Obviously, you don't want to go out like that. You want to try and be. Obviously, you want to be a champion, maybe again.
100%.
Right. So you
And
want to
next year
try.
it'll
You
be
want to try
done.
and claim to be a champion. Is that time when you be a champion now? You're gonna say, okay, I think I'm done now, or you're still gonna
No,
carry on? What do you think?
carry on. I mean, I have a goal of becoming undisputed. That's what I want, right?
Mm.
But when it comes down to the point where it's not safe for me, then yeah, I have, Rach and my whole family have every right to take me out of there, and and that's something that I give him permission to.
Okay, so Rachel, now I've got to ask you this then. He's got a goal. He's not stopping. He's
Mhm.
your husband. He's 40 years old, and you got two kids with him, right?
Mhm.
Are you as motivated as he is in the journey still?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, it's a little, it's for me, it's, when people go, oh, well, he should retire. Like, I'm like, okay, so why? And like, oh, he's washed up. I'm like, name me one person besides Inoue, because we know he's moving up, that can beat Nonito at 18, that poses that much of a threat to Nonito,
Yeah.
like a health scare threat. And they
No.
can't name one. Nonito is the hardest puncher in
Mm.
that division. So, for me, I'm like, okay. I was like, if we're, if his training, and if he's slacking in training, not focused, not, living healthy and all this stuff, then for sure I'll pull him out. But if he wants his goal, like we had this conversation after the New A fight, and I said, we're not doing this again. I was like, that's not how we go into fights. Like, we don't, we it didn't come together that night, and you didn't follow the game plan, but we're not doing this again. And so we looked at these like different fighters in the division, and had an honest conversation. It was like, yeah, nah, that guy's not gonna, he doesn't hit hard. Like, this guy pushes his punches, this guy's not heavy handed. Like, we literally went through the top 10, and I was like, nah, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a threat. Like, I'm like, okay. I was like, then we can still run with this, as long as you are still in the game, like, completely, mind, body, soul.
So basically, this is an all-in project again, and once you're back in, you're all in. But you're all in, and you're just as motivated as he is. That you're gonna, bring something back again. I mean, to me, you got Jason Maloney's fight, and that fight, if Inoue decides to move forward, and you can fight for the WBC with Jason Maloney, that's a good fight for you. But I think
Hmm.
they would want that fight in Australia. Or is that something that Richard Schaefer could bring to the United States?
Well, I think the problem lies in, like, and the WBC was a very big tell. Um, People talk too much. And Don, Rick's best friend, had already stated, okay, but when we go to purse bid, we'll do a 50-50 split. And we're like, so you're not even going to try to negotiate? Because I already know of the bad blood, or the blackout from
Right.
Top Rank that doesn't want to work with Probellum. So you're already telling me that position. And let's be honest, we don't want a freaking 50-50 purse split. That's actually working in their favor, because of the fact that Jason Maloney has not made the money Nonito's made.
No, it's not fault the guys that Nonito's fault.
Nor does
Correct.
he have the
He hasn't
notoriety.
been on that level that Nonito's
No.
ever
So
been.
that's what I'm saying. Like, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, it's not like Nonito's going to lose money. It's like, actually, yeah, because you're trying to jump into our money, because they know how much Nonito's worth, and then get Jason a higher, probably his highest payday,
Right.
because of the fact that he's never seen that money. And so saying, oh, purse bid and 50-50 split. We're like, that's the exact situation we don't want to be in because you're not worth the 50-50.
But that's where they're gonna force it to. It looks like.
Exactly, which is what they said. That's why I'm
Right.
like, come on, this is a snake move.
So what does that mean? Where would that mean that the fight would take place?
I don't know if Top Rank would do it in Australia because I don't know if his draw power is as strong without, like, he was underneath Cambosos's card.
Mm.
So you have to look at stuff like that and to have, like, okay, so let's just say people show up for the fight. The thing is, it's not just that, like the overall cost in having to freaking fly all of us, right, from the US over there, like, is that cost beneficial?
Right.
With him
Depends.
being
If they can't sell 40,000 tickets, then it's not.
No, they. I
correct.
don't think she can.
So it's better here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that fight would be bigger in Vegas.
I think Cali, the Punch Bowl is really fun, you know.
Vegas.
But Nonito would, of course, rather have it in Vegas. This is home, right?
But let's say, how long do you think's the time frame until Inoue decides that he would want to like let his belt go?
Honestly, if I was Inoue and his team, I would wait until I'm positioned correctly in the 22
Right.
with a contracted opponent. And we all know that that's going to take some time.
How long do you think that takes?
I think I say February is when he's going to vacate.
So you guys are willing to wait till March to negotiate for a fight? You're willing to
I
be
never
inactive for that long?
said I was waiting for him.
Yeah.
So what's plan B? Or what's plan A right now for you? What fight are you looking at going for for until you get to that stage?
I mean, let's go watch Estrada and Chocolatito and see what happens with the winner.
Yeah, that's a big fight though, but that's even bigger than Jason Maloney's fight.
Exactly.
So then if you go in that route, you're not going in the Jason Maloney route anymore.
Why?
Because by the time you make that fight with them, they probably want to fight you in maybe
March or April.
March or April. Then by the
Inoue
time
vacates in February, which by the time that the WBC mandates us to start negotiating will be you guys have 30 to 60 days to start negotiating the contract. If it goes to purse bid, that's stipulated another 30 days after that. So now you're looking at 60 days. No, you know what they have fought.
wait there. So you think you can pull off two birds with one stone, yeah? You might be able
Let's
to pull
see.
that off.
I mean, I'm not a manager or anything, so we'll see.
No, man. But that's a really good move if you can pull it off.
The move that's already been placed is a really good move. To have him have two options is a good move.
Yeah.
So you're going now to get ready to travel soon to go to the Chocolito versus Estrada fight. You're
I
gonna
think we
be
fly
there.
in at 3 a.m. I just confirmed our hotel, and I confirmed with Matchroom that our tickets are there. So,
Oh,
yep.
Matchroom want you to come.
Hey.
Matchroom want you to come on this one, huh?
You can't tell, but I'm smiling right now because you guys literally think that all I do is like lie down and sleep.
I don't think nothing like that. You're talking to Rick Glazier. That's not us. That's not me.
I know.
You know.
I'm saying in general. Like, listen, Rap. The whole
I
thing,
learned
like,
a lot. Listen, Rachel, I learned a lot from you. And to be honest, I do my homework. And sometimes when guests say stuff, doesn't mean I go and not check it out for myself, right? So I know that, you're doing some hard dedication in the sport of boxing and you really are in it in every little deadline. I mean, every little detail. So yeah, man, it's really good to share those experiences with you.
Yeah, one thing about Rick Glacier is some reason, some little beef, he holds grudges and biases against some people for whatever reason it is. So it's some. I wonder if you know what it is, Rachel. Why he might dislike
literally, it's literally okay. It's one or two things, right? He's okay with Richard, but we have fought on a PBC card. He freaking hates Al, so that's one. That might be one. Number,
Oh,
but I mean, okay, so that okay, that might be, but he will never talk bad about Richard. So that might be one. Number two, the only other thing is, I think he had a friend that was up against me for the manager position for the BWAA. So there's 5 people, and Reynoso ended up getting it, I believe. And there was one person that he particularly tweeted and said that you deserve the manager of the year.
it's
So
probably both things. A mixture of both
maybe,
things.
I
But
mean, if
my
that's
phone finna die. I need to hear both of y'all pound for pound
okay,
before
fine.
I go.
Okay, so mine, not in any order. Okay. I think the last one, Beevil, really captured my attention. I do think Inouye's up there. I think I said Beevil, right? Usyk is another one of mine. Now, it used to be Crawford for me, and I feel like Spence is higher up right now. I don't like, and but that's, I mean, based on just what they've done, then it would be, Crawford and Spence up there. But I guess I can't really base it off of, the fact that of how their movement is until like they just fight other people and then I can move
Yeah.
them out of it because I mean, but we already know what's going to happen, but the level of opponent is not even that great. So I'm just kind of assuming already and kind of penciling him down on my list where before I used to have him higher.
What if he has a great performance against Thurman, who's he suspected to fight? Like he stops Thurman.
Who? Spence?
Spence, yeah.
Yeah. You were breaking up. Sorry. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, I know to talk about pound for pound, you usually don't talk about like who they're about to fight. You base it off of what they've
Yeah.
done. So, yeah, he's there right now, but I feel like after the Aberdeen fight, however the hell that goes, like I feel like I'm gonna move it down.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
cool.
No Nito.
Hold on. Let me think this thing.
Did you hear who mine was?
Did yeah, I think a little bit.
You heard it a bit?
Yeah, but you weren't like in.
I didn't put it in any order.
Okay. Well, if I have to look at it this year, right? What accomplishments and all of that stuff. Um, I mean, or activity. I would say Usyk.
I said Usyk, right?
And yeah, Inoue. You know, I mean, I would. I've always been a Crawford fan, but he hasn't done anything in a while. You know, Bevo. You know, I mean, Jermel. Jermel has been beating
Ooh,
everybody. Oh, Bitterviev as well. You know,
okay.
who else? Beaver. I said Beaver already, right? Spence too as
Yeah.
well.
What about Bam
Um,
Bam Rodriguez?
In pound for pound?
Like,
Right.
do you
I'm
think?
like,
Yeah.
huh?
I mean, Bam Bam Rodriguez has done something. Seeing him
But
go
not
up the
enough to
weight,
go on that list.
but maybe not go in the list, but I'd say he's coming
Not on the
close.
list,
I mean, he's definitely a tremendous fighter.
but not on the pound for pound.
Not yet, not yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
You need more
He has more. He needs more
meaningful fights.
meaningful
A
fights.
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
more.
Who else did I say? Who am I forgetting?
I don't know,
Devin
Ramirez,
Haney.
you got Haney, you got Tank.
Oh, I got
August. What
What?
about August?
Haney. I put Haney in there. I mean, I know that it's just been, convulsive, but I mean, you can't deny that the fact that he's undisputed. I mean, shit, man, there's so many good fighters, man. At the end tail of everything else. I mean, you just gotta. I'm just trying to remember really great,
Yeah.
great fighter. I
So
mean,
if you want to remember great fighters, if you're saying to me these are the fighters that you like today, who's at the top of that? What about how do you rate your ex-opponent, where people have rated him really highly. Some people got him number one, number two. Some
I
people
mean,
got him at number two.
you know, he's fought he's fought um tremendous. I mean, that if you look at it, really, he's a great fighter. But the
Yeah.
only name that he really has in his record is pretty much me that are very very
Mhm.
meaningful or has a power on it, right? You know,
Yeah.
you if you look at Usyk won the title, the WBSS, Joshua and all these other guys, you know, coming up in weight, you know. So I think Usyk would rank higher. And now you look at Bevo as well. Bevo's been beating everybody else as well. I mean, you got Zordo, and most of all Canelo. You know, granted that
Mhm.
Canelo went up in weight, you know, but still
Mhm.
you can't take that away from him, you know.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
level of opponents for
for me, my pound for pound is a level opponent. That's pretty much how, you know, it's how it is for me,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
Then it should be Jamel probably at the top of that list.
Oh, 100% Jamel for me, man. Yeah,
How'd you
I said Jamel.
how'd
Yeah,
you rate
yeah.
how'd you rate Lomachenko?
Loma hasn't been very active or very precise.
But
Even his last fight wasn't
overall for what he's achieved.
for what he's achieved. I mean, I could say Crawford on top of that because Crawford has achieved a lot, you
Yeah.
know, but they haven't been really been this year. Like I said, this year for me, these are my pound for pound, you know, because like they haven't really. I mean, granted, he went to go to war and stuff like that, and you got to give that respect to him. But when he fought Jamel, he didn't look that good.
Jermaine.
Jermaine
Jermaine, yeah,
Ortiz, yeah, you got it.
yeah, Jermaine. He didn't really. I mean, granted, the other kid's pretty good too, you know.
Yeah.
But
That kid was unbeaten.
But I don't even think that's the excuse because he wasn't even off for a whole year. Like he was off for what, 10 months or
Yeah,
nine?
yeah, I mean
Nine,
he
I
was off,
believe.
but yeah, but at that age, Chavo,
No, it wasn't no
10,
year.
at
It
that
definitely
age
wasn't a
though,
year.
Chavo, at that age, 10 months is like a year to these guys.
well,
But no
I
one
gotta
said that when Crawford got in the ring with
Yeah.
you know, I
Go
gotta
on,
argue
Alex.
with that.
Porter.
I gotta argue with that because when I fought Inoue the first time,
Mm.
it was nearly 2 years before I fought Obali.
Yeah, that's too much though. That's too long.
But when you're that guy, that's who you are. You can,
Yeah.
you're that guy.
Yeah.
But I
Soon as
mean,
you know
I
the
mean, but he
person,
Lomachenko's the
still
same
won.
way, you know.
You know, but the
Lomachenko's the
funny
same
thing is
way.
though, he
He's a
still won.
tremendous fighter.
Yeah, but he won the fight. At the end of the day, he might not look as impressive, but Lomachenko still won the
But
fight.
he did win the fight. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and the later rounds he came strong again. So it shows that he's still got his gas tank, and it shows that he hasn't lost his stamina in any way. He
well, I
Yeah.
just
think Jermaine
lost.
just hasn't ever fought a 12-round fight, and he lost his gas tank. It shows more what Jermaine didn't do, of more so what
And his
Loma
lack of
did do.
experience.
Mm.
Yeah, it didn't show like when Porter fought Crawford. Crawford looked like he didn't miss a beat. It didn't
Yeah,
look
but
like he been out. When
Crawford
Nonito
was in a
fought
tough fight as
Inoue,
well.
it didn't look like he been out for 2 years. Like, oh my God, he's very slow. He can't. His reaction time is slow. No, so these are excuses. People don't want. It only shows up with certain fighters. Like, oh well, he's getting old now. Now he got a lot of mileage. No, he got only got like 14, 15
Well, but
fights. Like, yo,
that's the
no.
thing. That's the thing is that, you know, like everything in life, the moment that you start playing that game of time, and believing in it and believing in people's word that you're old, you're gonna get old real fast, man. When you say, "Oh man, I ain't have it anymore," then that's when you know you should step out. Like for me, okay, I got dropped,
Yeah,
I got knocked out. Okay, whatever. All right, I'm still good right now, but I feel like I learned a lot from that, and I can go better from it. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I'm not slurring when I'm not talking. You know, I don't have that voice where, dude, this dude needs to
James
get the fuck
Tony.
out of
You mean
boxing.
like a James Tony?
Right. Like he doing this for a check. Like, nah, and it's a couple of fighters, shit, young fighters that sound kind of, I don't know if they just stupid or what it is, but a lot of them sound like slurring their words and shit. I'm like, damn, he get hit a lot of something going on.
I mean, the thing too is that a lot of kids or a lot of trainers, they get them to spar like crazy, man. If you see them in the gym and you're like, man, that he needs to stop that shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of our sparring partners that, you know, like they'll spar us and Nonito's freaking going hard. And I mean, granted, Nonito's not sparring against 18-pounders, or
Yeah, I'm fighting
he's sparring like
130, 126,
yeah,
130.
126, 130-pounders who are actually walking at 45,
Mm.
right? But then you're like, oh shoot, like let's say like Nonito, like something happens on a Monday where he has to do all his medicals. So I'm like, hey, can we move the Monday sparring to Tuesday? And they're like, no, I'm sparring this guy on Tuesday. And then I'm like, what about Wednesday? And like, no, sparring this guy. And we're like, okay,
Damn.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so he would have
He
had,
getting
if
his
if
ass
we
beat
didn't
every
try
day
to
of the
move it
week.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then back with, well, Monday with us, Tuesday, Wednesday with two other people, and then Friday you're back with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard people like sparring ridiculous amounts, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, this is what we're doing.
Probably
Like,
like
and
hard
these are
sparring
not.
too. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, these kids are. They're not like playing patty cake at all. And I think that that's some trainers. Okay, so there's two things about trainers right now that irritate the fuck out of me. One are the TikTok trainers. Like, they look really pretty on mitts. And I'm like, so what did you learn from doing that? You memorized a pattern of 8 punches and movement and looked pretty for TikTok, but what was the point of that?
To
Right?
be the next Ryan
And then
Garcia.
yeah, I mean, he's pretty in himself as it is, without the little, show that he does. But in addition to that, a lot of trainers, instead of actually training, instead of like, they're like, okay, go spar. Because guess what? The trainer doesn't have to hold mitts. They don't have to, watch you consistently. Like, you're going and doing
Yeah,
work. So
yeah,
I've seen it time and time again. Actually, someone asked me the other day about some trainer in Vegas, and I'm like, no. And they're like, why? And I was like, I've seen fighters walk away from them. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because I've seen when these fighters are sparring and they're literally either A, on the phone, or B, looking at their phone while they're supposed to be working the corner and shouting out, adjustments during sparring and being
yeah,
fully present. Like, so it's this kind of, BS that I'm like, come on, dude. Like, we should be better.
yeah. Like they don't want to work at all.
No, it's ridiculous. Like, the stuff I see in the gyms, I'm like, okay, and I'm the one that doesn't know anything. Like, you guys aren't even trying. You guys just got this position, and then you don't really care. Like, a lot of these trainers, like, I don't feel like they really invested into their fighters. Like, they're just another paycheck, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's why I think that intimate relationship is so important for some of the fighters. And then even the greatest fighters we know had very intimate relationships with their trainers, either as well, most of the time a son father relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
So have you ever in sparring, a champ, Nani, or have you ever in sparring been hurt? That is, you've had to take a week off or something. Because we hear so many wars happen in sparring. A lot of stuff gets taken out of fighters in sparring. Have you been knocked down? Have you been hurt in sparring like that?
No, I've never been like hurt where I had to take away um you know
No
weeks
broken
and stuff
ribs,
like
nothing
that.
like that.
But I mean, I've been hurt, like pull a muscle, or
Mhm.
I was dehydrated and I ended up pulling a muscle, and like I'm out for like 4 weeks or some shit like that. But not like from sparring. I mean, I've gotten hurt in sparring through dehydration, or like just the body giving up on me, but not like got hit and got concussed and all that shit.
Okay, so sparring has never put you in, like, you hear so many stories. Tank did this guy to sparring. What's his name? Errol Spence knocked out Adrian Broner in sparring. You hear all these stories. You know what I'm saying? So I said,
Yeah.
so if that hasn't happened to you, have you hurt someone in sparring then?
I mean, I've there was early a few years back. I mean, I would bring in sparring, and those guys would disappear within the next week or something, or the
Oh,
next
I was
sparring.
pissed. He
Yeah,
would he would bring in sparring from California, or sometimes like as far as like Texas. And so I would have to go and pick up these guys at the airport. I'd bring them to like a weekly apartment studio. But I'd pay for like 2 months, right? Or a month, depending on when the sparring partner came in. I'd
Or
sign,
what we have decided to.
yeah, but I'd sign the lease for this apartment, like a short-term rental. And then I would bring a whole bucket full of, uh, like here's pillows, here's sheets, here's pots and pans, and just everything that you need that, like, from home, because it was a studio apartment. And then after like a week or two, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go home for the weekend." Those motherfuckers never came back. And
Yeah.
then I'm stuck with cleaning the apartment because my name's on the lease, and not fun.
I mean, when it comes to physical stuff, I've broken a couple noses, a few noses.
Oh, you
I've
have?
knocked out, a few guys. I've dropped a few guys. I broke a few ribs. So stuff like that. I mean, you know, I
You've seen some, but that has never happened to you. But you've
no,
ended.
no. I
That's
mean,
good.
I've gotten hit to the body where I kind of stopped for a couple seconds, you know, but nothing like I got dropped or got knocked out or anything like that.
I hear you. So sparring it can get brutal though. You've seen some bad shit. I'm sure you've seen it behind the scenes, right? And I'm sure you've seen great fighters. And I've heard this from a lot of people in boxing, and I've seen it myself in England, where they're great in training. They're amazing when you spar them and that, but they couldn't make it in professional.
Yeah, that's the same thing what my brother was. My older brother was great in fucking sparring and in the gym. They call him the gym champion. You know, he was fucking amazing in the gym. He was whooping everybody's ass. He was whooping my ass too. But then when he was in the fight, he wasn't the same. I know his capabilities, but it was hardly when he came into to a professional ring that he was at his best.
Why do you think that happens to fighters?
It's mental. A lot is mental. They don't believe in themselves. As much as it's funny is because my whole family believed in him, but he didn't believe in himself. you know he always doubted himself. Like for me, I just kept pushing harder. I didn't have time to doubt because I needed to be better so that I'm noticed, growing up. So with that mindset, for me it was always pushing forward and fighting for everything that I got. Well, for him it was like, if I don't want to be criticized, it was a stupid shit that goes into his head, instead of fighting the best, or being at the best. So there's a give and take to life. For me, I'm grateful that I had a hard life because it brought me to where I'm at. For him, he was a golden child and he was loved.
Hmm.
But when he came down to pressure, he couldn't. There was nobody else to protect him because he didn't know how to protect himself.
So some people, they just can't do it in front of the lights and the camera and the action. They
Yeah,
can do it, but behind the scenes, there's something happens like goosebumps inside of you that when you're in front of the action, you're not the fighter you are behind the scenes. So it
it
happens
was
with
another
some of these
switch.
fighters. Yeah.
It was a switch for me. Like when I was in front of the light, because like in sparring and in training, I wasn't. Sometimes I'm not that good, or most of the time I'm not. I wasn't as great as other people were, but inside of that ring, I was better than everybody was.
Mm. Well, I want to just talk about the last couple of things before I let you go because I know you're very active behind the scenes, and from what I'm hearing, that you're training with Wei Li. Wei Li, the
Yes.
UFC Chinese. Comes from China. She's a bad little mofo. She
Oh my
is
God,
she
she's
is a
amazing.
bad little mofo when it comes to the MMA. But
Yes.
as
So
far as
they've
boxing,
reached out to
that's a
me.
whole different thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but she's reached out to me for boxing, stand up boxing abilities, to learn from me, and she's got more
They
than what she
reached out to
bargained
you.
for.
Their team actually reached out to you.
Yes, well, a friend of ours,
Yeah.
mutual friend who's working with Whaley, asked Whaley if you want, she's very excited to learn about boxing. So they
Wow.
wanted me to go out there and check it out, and they wasn't expecting how I teach and stuff like that. So what we had was just, man, she really loved what I had to offer in terms of boxing. It's just, she
Wow.
was very excited every fucking day. She was just like excited about what I was teaching her.
But
Really?
that girl works
Hey,
though.
but that girl is a
She
badass, man. She
she's
got
a
power.
beast.
She
She
got
worked.
power, and I think she can beat any 115, 118 pounder in the boxing. I
Even
swear to
so, if
God,
Whaley came to boxing, she could fight.
he will be a world champion. I told her that, and I'm not gonna
Whoa.
sugarcoat anything. This girl, this
Can
girl is
fight.
like is on fire, man. She's I really truly believe that when she or if she decides to go to boxing, she will become a world champion.
So you're currently have been training with her. Recent times you've been going back and forth and training Whaley.
Yes, and she's like a sponge, man. She just learns, bro. Like the way she, she'll ask a question here and there, but she's very observant. It's like kind of like me. She just mimics it and she gets it, and her power, man. Her power for a woman is just like on a different level.
What does she walk around at? I heard Rachel say she walks around a bit heavy. She walks like she's not a small girl like you think she is.
Well, she's like the regular fighter, 130 ish, mid 130 or a little bit
Yeah,
lower.
apparently there was a translation error yesterday or
Yeah,
Oh,
2 days
she's
ago.
like, yeah, she's like 133.
When she actually just said kilos, then we translated and we're like, oh. But when she said it in English, I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh.
what? So yeah, she's like, yeah, 135's still a lot bigger than me. And she freaking her
But
work ethic.
that's her losing weight, trying to lose weight now, or just maintaining her weight. But she's a strong girl, man. She is because she just learns, and she learns how to really use. She understands alignment, you know, and when somebody understands alignment within their muscle, um, that's where power truly comes from, along with the speed.
Right. So she's fun to work with, huh? So it looks like these are things that, they're good for her resume. They're good for you too, to teach these kind of elite MMA fighters, right, how to use
Oh yeah,
hands.
100%, 100%. But I truly believe again, if she goes into boxing, man, she will take over the division.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Mhm.
Wow.
100%,
At what
100%.
division? At what division?
Well, she fights at 115 in the UFC, but she can probably go 115, 118, or 22, and it maybe to 26.
Wait there, wait,
No,
but
26 is too big. 26 is too big. She's probably
she
about
needs to
22,
spar
She's
some good
true.
boxers at 118.
22.
If she could find some women at 118, it will show where she's at, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I believe that
I
she's
kind of want to put her in front
I
of some
want
of the
to.
biggest girls
I
in town.
want to though. That's the thing is I want to working with her. I'm like excited. I'm like, man, I want to get you into boxing, because
Imagine you
she's
manage her
good.
or get her into some fight in boxing. That would be amazing.
Ah, dude, I'll convince her one way or another. I got to talk to Dana.
Well, you're backing her. That's a big name. And you're
Yeah,
telling us that she could probably be world champion as a boxer. So I'm interested.
man, I'm telling you. I mean, this is just the first week that we kind of like work on boxing, but the way she's just transitioning to understanding the sport and the fundamental of boxing, it's just like she's meant to fight.
Well, you're not,
And she
bro.
works hard.
Bro, you listen, real recognizes real. Talent
Yep.
recognizes talent. You know now that you're telling us she's got that talent, even as a boxer. So that
Yeah.
tells me what level of fighter she is.
I mean, I'm watching all these girls fighting and all this stuff, and there's just this sluggishness on them. But when you work with her, when I started working with her, she just now that I started using and utilizing true balance in boxing, her speed just tremendously uh just went up, man. It's just different, bro. I swear, like I'm excited if she ever does go to boxing, man. I truly believe she will be the best in the
Because
division.
they do, how many rounds does she do in UFC? 5 minute rounds? How many
Yeah,
rounds?
5 minute rounds. Yeah, 5 minute rounds, 5 rounds for a championship.
So she should be able to do 2 minute rounds, 10 rounds. I mean, that's something
Yeah,
she's got to train for. She's got to train
Nonito
for
had
that.
to Nonito had to situationally spar her for 5 minutes,
Hmm.
5 minute rounds.
Yeah, we kind of sparred a little bit here and there. All I did was
For
jab.
5 minutes though.
Yeah, all I did was jab on her and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But this is why I can.
yeah, obviously you're not gonna go force with her. You got to put
No,
work
no,
with
I was probably
you got to
going about
work with the
10.
girl. Yeah.
Probably at 10, 15%. I'm just throwing a jab
Uh-huh.
here. And that's all I ever throw was a jab. But for her to move her head and then, you know, me standing in front and her landing those punches, I can feel them. I'm like, oh, this girl got something, man. He definitely got something. That's why I can say to you guys, because I felt her power in my arms, or blocking it in my hand, that she has power, and the ability to go around and the lateral movement. I think she'll be a tremendous fighter as a boxer.
Her feet move very quickly, which is like when we're teaching her, like we're like, okay, do this, do this, do that, where it's very advanced in boxing, and she just mimics it, and we're like, oh, she gets it. Like a lot of things that
Wow.
we did today, she just freaking like picks up, and we're like, oh shit, I thought that was gonna be hard for her. Apparently, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of her maintaining and the ability to get her body used to the movement, But when she does get the understanding of it, she just gets it. And the difference between other girls is they move like a girl. This girl move like a man.
Can you imagine if you could bring her into a cross promotion? I mean, a crossover into
Oh, I know.
boxing versus someone like Jessica
And
McCaskill.
well, the thing is that Richard is, he manages
John Jones.
John Jones and talks to Dana. So if
Oh,
she really
Richard
wanted
manages
to,
John Jones.
yeah.
Well, he
I
works with
didn't
him
know.
with
I
John
mean, but
Jones. Yeah.
John Jones is going up and down in his career lately in his life, but that's still a legendary fighter.
No,
Yeah,
but either way, like that door is like the crossover of boxing and
it's
MMA is
possible.
right there.
It's
Wow,
possible,
that would be
and I
big,
would love
Nanito.
to get her there
That
because
would
I
be big,
know she
Nanito.
will.
That would be big. If you get her there, you be doing something massive. That would be massive for women's
Dude,
boxing.
she will knock a lot of bitches out, man. I swear to God, this girl is a beast, man.
Hey, all you girls heard that. All you boxing girls heard that. You know that Nanito Donaire saying, listen, if this girl comes over there, you girls
And
gotta
well,
watch out.
it helps too. It helps too that I'm teaching her how to properly do it. The proper rotation, the proper push, and the proper let go of the arm to uh
Man.
to get her that massive power. She's already strong as it is, but now that you're putting everything in there, it's just like whoa.
Oh, Richard's his advisor.
Oh, Richard is his advisor. There you go. John Jones
Okay.
advisor.
John Jones's advisor, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So it just seems like then is Probella working with UFC fighters too then? Or any combat sport,
I don't
all
know.
combats.
I don't know if it's under Probellum because he's already been working with Jones for before Probellum.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But isn't
I mean,
Probellum Richard
there's probably a
Schaefer's company?
possibility of that.
Right. But is that Richard Schaefer's company, Probellum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he is the CEO
President,
or president. The president.
maybe.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that then obviously John Jones is probably part of that circuit for him. But that's really great, man, to see that you guys are working with different kind of people behind the scenes, seeing you working with Wei Lee and helping these fighters. Now when we watch Wei Lee in UFC, we're gonna want to see some hands now. We can see the
Oh,
Filipino flash. He's been going, working with Wei Lee. So look, that's an exclusive for everybody who didn't know this. But yeah, man, it's been a great interview with you guys today, man. I really appreciate you guys.
All the time,
thanks for
man.
having.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us, and it was always great conversation with everybody, man, and to all the people in the chat.
But we always
Appreciate it,
go
man.
different over here. We talked about your animals for ages. We went about your
Right?
spiders. We
Yeah,
went into
exactly.
different zones. You know what I mean? And we went into your life. More than anything,
That's
we learned certain new things about your life, your upbringing, and how open you are. And I gotta admire you that both of you are very open to be on these social media platforms You don't care how people, if they judge you or if they want to say this and that. You're at least being real as you can. You tell us things that you even pissed your pants in your first fight.
Oh yeah. And this is the
Wow.
thing I gotta say too, Rap, is that no matter how many people will judge, it's never about what I am to them. It's what they are to themselves. Because the judgment and the mentality and the emotion really comes from that person. For me, I can speak all the things that I want, and it doesn't affect me regardless whether people are gonna love it or hate it. If they do
Yeah.
love it, I appreciate that. If they hate it, it has nothing to do with me. And that's why I'm open about a lot of things in life. I mean, that's why I told you from the beginning. It's like, hey, ask away, man. Like I'm not the type of person to hide away my emotion or anything that I am.
Look, man, at the end of the day, it feels like even after you explain the way that you are and the way that you've lived, it seems like emotions had come out of you a long time ago from even when your family didn't even think you were going to do it.
Well, I
So
think
I
that's
think that's
that's my
built you.
learning lessons growing up,
Yeah,
and this
that's
is why I
kind of
share.
built you, though, isn't it? It's built you as a person. Like, when your own people have doubted you, you really think you give a fuck about what anybody else thinks when you've
Exactly.
achieved
But
more
that's the
than
thing.
any
But
heights
but
in
that's the
life.
thing, Rap.
Yeah.
Success is the learning experience of all the setbacks that we like that we live. That the setbacks allowed me to be who I am. Without my setbacks, I wouldn't be the person that I am. I mean, the difference between me and my brother was his setback was his fear. For
Mm.
me, I didn't have any fear because I couldn't give fear. All I could do was I was always on a deficit. I was always on a disadvantage by everybody around me, the people that I trusted the most, you know. And I mean, she can tell you, in our relationship, the one thing that I truly was difficult to acknowledge was I was always I couldn't trust people because the people around me that I grew up with, my dad, my mom, never treated me.
Your friends that
my
didn't come to our
friends
wedding.
my friends who were my supposedly brother, but didn't show up in my wedding because they didn't like her or whatever it is, right? There's some shit in my life, but those deficit and those setback brought me to become grateful in my life, brought me to become hardworking, brought me to become determined, and that's why people should embrace their darkness, because you know what, that's what makes you strong.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just sometimes I think like a character like you, Rachel must have had a different path to you. And I'm sure, Rachel has had a different upbringing. We didn't really get up to Rachel's life because obviously we were so involved in what we were saying. But I'd like to know soon how Rachel's upbringings were and what did she. I know that she said that she wasn't daddy's girl either. Her dad was strict on her and she was like treated as like one of the boys, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why for her she's always fought for women's right and women's strength, is because she was always doubted, and that's why when Rick
Oh,
said
did not
something.
wait. I didn't ask that ever, Rachel. Were you ever doubted? Was you doubted as a person through your own?
When
Oh,
when I
what?
fought my first nationals, so I did, of course, fought since I was 8, and then I went to my first nationals, and they're like, okay, if you make states, we'll go to nationals. So I made states. I took gold the first time,
Mm.
and then they go to nationals, and I had girls huge, like way bigger than me, and my parents are like, okay, well, if you win, then we'll get you like stick fighting classes because I was like into that before. Whatever you want. But literally, my parents told me, they didn't tell me then, but when I won, they're like, we didn't think you were gonna win.
Wow. How did
And it
that
was,
make you feel?
and then I go on. I felt like, like thanks for showing up, but what the fuck, right? Because like you literally how do you not know? Like my name, like when I was younger, was A, either the Tasmanian Devil, B, Lady Savage, and then the Knockout Queen. Because I literally had this switch where I would just go, right? And at the age of freaking 12, no, I think I was 14. The headmasters in California would joke with my coach and they'd be like, "Do you take her out of jail the night before she fights?" Or like that was my reputation. But it was like my parents didn't think that I was going to be able to pull it off, you know? I was always the one to push the buttons. Like the first time I ever kicked, my instructor told me I kicked like a girl. And when he turned around, I kicked him in the back of the leg. Like I was always that person that it was like, don't put me in a damn box. You know, and then we came up all the way to like senior nationals when I was going on to a senior team. My first time at the nationals for seniors, I lost to a world champion. But before I even stepped on that ring, my coach is like, "Hey, listen, so you're fighting her and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." And she's like, she just won worlds, and I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "So if you lose this, listen, like we get it." I'm like, "You get fucking what? What do you get? Like what are you guys trying to instill on me?" Then it military world games. I went to fight Korea and I trained for 2 months against a girl, and they're like, "Oh, she's really good. She's the first place champion. She's blah 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 blah." Freaking I show up to the damn tournament. It's the same girl I beat in Korea. I beat her in her own town. And I'm like, why the hell did you like tell me like she like glorified this person, like make me a better fighter, clean up my flaws, but you guys like talk up these people so much that it's like you doubted what I did to get here. So yeah, there's been many of the occasion that it's happened.
Does that kind of help both of you, like for you, in a way that people doubted you, but you believe in yourself and that builds something into you? Is that why maybe you and your husband have a good connection, or you know that you both wasn't that encouraged, but reaching heights means that now are you the same like your parents were with each other, or totally not?
No, my parents like that was just like a one off for my parents. My parents have always been like super
Supportive.
overly,
Supportive.
yeah, supportive. It's not like it, I honestly was the one that was the favorite. Um, because of the connection, and I was the oldest. My sister was the one that always kind of lived in my shadow, and she was the one that would make it to the finals, and then something would happen that she wouldn't win, right? And she
Mm,
was talented as hell, but she was the one that my dad had to like yell at her in the middle of the match, and she's crying. Like it
right.
was totally two different freaking people. So, um, my connection with my dad has always been fighting. Like when UFC came into the picture, we were watching UFC. I watched Pacquiao's early fights, like when fights were on HBO, when they were on was I think it was ESPN or whatever. My dad and I would sit and watch, and so it we had these connections, but he did treat me like a boy. Like it was like age 7 watching, or age 6 watching, what the fuck is that called? Not Poltergeist for sure, and like all the scary movies you could never think of. My dad was the one, like he'd be like, "Hey, you want to watch a movie?" And he'd pop in like the scariest freaking movie, Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th, Alien, you name it. Like I'm like 7 watching these movies because I was supposed to not be scared. I was supposed to be this boy.
Yeah, so I got a message here. Frank says, "What a great show, Oprah. I mean, rap star." He's taking the piss because the questions just don't stop coming. And people know I always come with different angles. It's been like this is your life. And he says, Nonito and Rachel dropping that knowledge. Then we got Anonymous says, "I always admire Rachel and Champ Donner, the one and only Filipino Flash. Lots of love from Anonymous Sports."
Oh, thank
That's nice.
you.
So Rachel,
Yeah, so
basically,
I
yeah,
honestly rap. I think like a lot of it is if you create, adversity and obstacles in your life, like things like don't naturally come easy, then that's when you start to build character. And I think both of us has had obstacles in our own, in our own ways. I didn't have, the obstacles of financial burden like his family did when he was growing up. I didn't need anything. My parents overly provided.
right.
Um, but like in within society,
Mm,
um, I think I was questioned a lot just because, first of all, we lived in a predominantly white neighborhood. I was one of two
Mm.
Asians in the entire school kind of thing. Um, and it's, for me, like, these kind of like situations where life isn't just handed to you and you're questioned and you have to either show up or shrink down. Like, that's why, I became as strong as I did. I could easily just be the trophy wife that goes shopping all day and stays at the spa and shows up at the fight, like really cute and
Hang
wears
with the
heels.
girls if you want.
Yeah,
Come on.
but
But
that's
you're
not
more,
me.
you're all about your family, aren't you, as well? It's all about your family to you.
Yeah. It is. Like, I've been texting my dad back and forth. They got stuck in San Francisco and they're heading over to Korea for Casemiro's fight. My dad and my mom, like they live like really freaking close. My kid sister, she
Are
moved
your
out.
family close to your husband?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I
Oh,
think they love him more than me.
oh
No,
really?
they love me more. Look, her family, whatever I ask them to do, they will do it without a fucking question.
Like,
Okay,
I
they
would, like,
natural.
before, like, I would be like, "Hey, so can you ask like mom to watch the kids? Cause I'd rather not ask my mom to watch the kids." Like,
Oh no.
he'll he'll be like the mom. He'll be like, "Hey mom, hey dad, so Rach and I want to go on a date night." Sure. Take
Okay.
the whole weekend. Like, but with me it'd be like this, like, little,
Are
like, a
the
little
kids
bit of a fight.
close? So kids are more close to your family than his family.
Yeah, because his mom lives in California and his dad is, I think he already moved to the Philippines now, so they only see them maybe once every 6 months or once a year.
Right, right. I hear you. So at the end of the day, they're more closer to your side because your family is more involved, hands on the children.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's good. You guys have got good support system around you for your kids. You know what I'm saying? You got good people around you because being in this atmosphere in this business with Nanito, there's times that you're not spending times with your own kids, right? Because you got to be in different places and doing different things. Both of you being young parents, you know sometimes you probably need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, like, most of the time I mean, as far as like when it's camp, right? The beauty of how old they are is they're in school. So what we do is we drop them off, then we head straight to the gym, right? So then after that, then we pick them up, and then Nonito like takes a quick nap during the day, and then he does like a second training. Usually, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a jog on the treadmill, or he's gonna do a strength and conditioning or whatever. Um, so that's easy. When it comes to like fights, then my family, like, I'm like, either it depends on where it is and what restrictions with COVID. Um, then they'll come, right? They came to the Gabayo fight. And my sister and my mom came out and brought them to the fight. And they'll watch them the entire time that we're there in fight week. Like, fight week, it's hard. They see us, but they can't really spend time with us. Like, it's like, "Hey, baby," like, they're like, "Mom," and then I'm like, "Okay, I gotta go to a press conference. I gotta do this. I gotta do that." And like, actually, this whole October, November, December has been a whirlwind for them because usually we're here on the weekends and like every single weekend we're out, like with the Regis fight, now the Chocolatito fight, and they're like, "Mom, like, do you have to go again?" I'm like, "Yes." And we have to like almost negotiate with them. "Listen, mom and pop's got to go. We have to do this. We have to go to that fight. We have to go to the WBA, the WBC. Papa's going to BO." I'm like, "Okay, we swear during Christmas break, where do you want to go? You want to go Disney World, Universal, Atlantis?" And they're like, "Atlantis." I'm like, "All right, then we're going to Atlantis." Like, and at that point, phones will be turned off, no boxing, focus on the kids. Because all the work we've done to position Nonito, like, now we just need to wait till the eggs hatch.
Yeah, definitely. And you want to spend that time as well. You don't want to lose that quality time as you're going for the journey. You have a journey of parent, and lots of parents today they get too busy giving their kids devices and that. And it's good that you do try and spend that more quality time when you do.
No, and we're the ones who pick them. We bring them to school. We pick them up from school. We bring them to jujitsu. We're sitting in jujitsu like all jujitsu
Yeah.
parents. And DJ classes. Nonito has Logan who's playing the drums, so he's in that classroom. And then and I'm in Jay's classroom with a DJ. So like we're constantly there.
Yeah.
Um, and like we don't leave. So it's kind of when COVID hit, like, and people are like, "Oh my God, I'm in the house." Like for us, like first of all, it doesn't mean anything because literally this is our life. Like we literally side by side most of the time. And when they're like with the kids, like I'm like, well, this is what we do all the time. Like we're always with our kids unless it's fight week or unless we have to go to an event. That's the only other two times we're not with our kids.
Yeah. But look, Rachel, I'll tell you what though, you hardworking people, you're always on the boxing, you're always in boxing, you live, breathe, sleep boxing. And I had to ask you that because you got to make time for so many other things, being parents. But this takes a lot. This is part of your life. This boxing is majority takes a lot out of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And you got to know how to balance it, I guess, because you're not just a fighters in this business. It's the mother and the father in this business. So in your position, I'm sure it's just kids and boxing then, because how can you make time for so many other things at the moment?
Yep, that's pretty much it. And I still have my career, so you know,
Yeah, that's your other career that you have, which is business that you
mhm,
do. You can probably share that another time when you want. You have other business, or is it businesses?
businesses.
Right. So you have different business and platforms going on. Um, so those are
Yeah,
other
and,
part of
and I
your
gotta hit the
journey,
gym too. Yeah,
and
and
you
I
got to
have to
hit the
hit the
gym.
gym too. I have to have
So
my
why
alone
don't you
time
have
to.
time? This is going to be my last question for both of you, because this is going on another panel soon when I'm having another live. But I'm going to start do this with you guys, and I've got another couple of guests coming to talk about this subject. And I got talk about this quickly because I don't have that much time now. But I want you to talk about it. Twitter has become social media the biggest platform for boxers and many athletes today. Now we
Mm,
realize that Twitter is a way that boxers express themselves. They come at each other on Twitter. There's a lot of Twitter. We're going to show you the
mhm.
Twitter bird. The Twitter bird has taken over the whole when it comes to media and boxers talking to each other. Now, some people say it's cheesy. Some people say it's corny. Some people say that what Errol Spence and Terence Crawford did, like big children. Some people say, but this is what we want to see. We want to see Twitter because at least fighters express themselves. And some people say that guess what? At least a fighter can try and put a fighter in pressure. This is the way that you do a call out. This is the way that you put fighters under some kind of pressure. What the fuck do you think about this new Twitter, which is going crazy in the last 1 year?
Um, I don't necessarily like I get both sides, right? I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't know, maybe it's just for us like again, we're respectful until you want to like start coming for us. And I think when we did it on Twitter with Casemiro, well, Casemiro's camp with Sean Givens, like it proved to be not beneficial and actually like turned around and flopped on its face. We didn't end up fighting, right? So it could work against you. And the thing is like for me, like I feel like if you're going to call out someone, then you have to bring that same energy when you see them at the fights. Most of these guys that are really loud and stuff, when they get to seeing someone in person, like it's a different energy. And I think that's fake. I think it's silly. Um, but at the same time, like, do I think they should have a medium? Yes. Do I think Twitter is the medium? No, because I've seen it time and time again where you type something of 140 characters, there's no tone, there's no like inflection, you can't see their facial expression. I don't feel like that's a good medium because it's difficult like for what was, I think was it Spence's thing on Twitter. It was
Mm,
like what 16 freaking Twitter thingies and you had to try to follow the storyline of the story. Like it's too much. Like it's too little space and then too much of you trying to say something that's not coming across because of these 140 character limitations. I honestly think if you really want to show who you are, then, like whether it's YouTube or Instagram Live, um, it really needs to be like of you saying it with that intensity and with that inflection. So there's no miscommunication of what you're saying, and it literally is like you, your face, and this things. Because I'm gonna be honest,
Mm.
I don't know sometimes of these Twitters that are going off with not even just the fighters. Sometimes, yeah, well, actually, yeah, some of these fighters and things like that. Sometimes when you look at their Twitter feeds, like and how they talk, and then all of a sudden it changes. Like I'm
Mm.
like, is someone handling
What
his
about when
personal
they
account?
retract them? Like hundreds this year, there's been like over dozens of athletes which have retracted their Twitter because they felt they've said something wrong. Da 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 da. Have you seen that happening now?
Yeah, but then that's you being stupid and reactionary. Like literally, like whenever me and Nonito are posting anything, like we're
Mm.
like, hey, what do you think of this? And sometimes I'll correct Nonito's verbiage because the way
Mm.
that it's presented, it just the you needed to put like a word in a different order so it sounds better and not confrontational, whatever. But
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna say something, being that we're in an internet and everything is on, the web right now. Even if you retract it, someone already screenshotted it. So what's the point of retracting it at that point?
Yeah, Frank says, I think it's a good to the internet for the fans, but it's not for good for call outs. Because what are the reality of the call outs is what Frank is saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, you call out and then what? And then you're like, okay, well, call me because most of these boxers all have each other's numbers. And it's like, okay, well, call me. Let's get a deal done. No one's freaking phone rings. No one's. Like it just looks silly and then they go back and forth and like who's like more like a man at this point and blah blah. And for me, I'm like, y'all are both silly. Like you're
Mm.
not in front of like if you're in front of each other, I feel like for me, if you're seeing me face to face or we're talking on the phone, that's completely different than I don't know if that's really you that's typing it behind Twitter. That's the
Or is
thing
it
with
your
Twitter. I don't
marketing
like
team?
Twitter. Huh?
It could be their marketing team or people which are running their Twitter forum. I don't know. Who is it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be their marketing team. It could be several people from their camp that has access to the account. Um, it could be anything. And so for me, like I'm like, if you're gonna do a call out, then do it on a video so we know it's you and you're not gonna be like deleting shit because someone from your marketing team typed out something they shouldn't have. Like put a face to the words that's being said across the screen. I don't think
So
Twitter is the
maybe
best
do
space to
more.
do it.
So for you, if they rather do a call out on Instagram.
Instagram or YouTube video.
Mm.
Video. I don't like posted stuff where I can't verify that that's actually you talking behind the keyboard.
So that means this Monday we gotta have you and Rick Glazier on video then.
I'm good with video.
Hmm. I mean that's if you want that.
Yeah, I want video.
Okay. Then so Rapstar, are you excited for the return of the main man? Hmm. I know who you're talking about, bro. You're talking about Tyson Fury. But we'll talk about that one on the next one. Yeah, but listen, Twitter is the way what is going on, Rachel. Whether you love it or you hate it, this is how people are now communicating and using it as the go to card. Boxing has become big for Twitter. Twitter has become big for boxing. And it's part of our generation that we're seeing that boxers are using it and they're using it for call outs, they're using it for this, they're using it for slandering, they're using it for all kinds of protecting their innocence, using it for saying they ain't get paid. It is the go to, Rachel, and you got to get used to it.
No, I get it. But can you also do a short video on Twitter and
No, you're
upload it?
right. I
You
agree
can.
with you more. I agree with you
That
there.
I feel like that's more of a man. Here's my face. I'm not gonna say my brother tweeted it. I'm not gonna hide behind it. I'm not gonna delete it or whatever. Like this is my face and I'm saying it. So there is no misconception of, oh, did someone else Twitter that or whatever, type it out. No, this is me saying it. And if you want to interact with fans, like literally live video is the better way. They see your expression, they see your emotion, they see how you talk, they see if you're twitching, they see if you're trying to run, they see freaking everything.
But then you
I
got
don't
someone who makes live videos nearly every other day. A man like Tyson Fury, who always makes videos, and half of the time they don't believe him.
well, yeah, I mean Tyson Fury is one of those anomalies that like to screw with people.
But he does it the way
Literally.
you want him to do it. He does it with his face.
Yes. And he likes to screw with people. So there's that.
But at least he does it with his face.
Yeah. You
So you
know
got
it's not someone else.
you got to respect that. You got to respect that. And so you're not for it. What you're saying is this shouldn't be the boxer's go-to card. You've done it before, and that time I never knew you this way. But we were talking about it, Rachel. When you
Yeah.
were on the Twitter beef, that Twitter beef got you a lot of okay, not the eyes that you wanted, but it still got you a lot of eyes, and I'm sure you didn't do it for that publicity stunt and all that, but it got a lot of people talking about it. Even in England, we were talking about it.
Really? I only did
Yeah,
it because Sean wouldn't answer the damn phone.
you don't know the power of Twitter. I got to know more about you after that. I started getting emails.
But do
Everybody
you
in
know how
boxing.
irritating it was whenever I type something out, then it says negative 10 characters? Like, that was so irritating.
Yes, Twitter is it makes a lot of noise. Twitter is good for boxing to an extent. Tip Bayless says Twitter is good only to an extent until they push it. When they push it, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people are looking stupid on Twitter, Rachel.
Yeah, but I like what Boxing with Frank Bay said. Nonito not tweeting Chocolatito, he will be ringside.
Yeah, that's the old school stuff. Nanito, you need to tweet, but Nanito ain't coming with this Twitter. Like like other boxers are calling them all out on Twitter. I mean, if Nanito did it, everybody be like, okay, okay, all right, this is how they are. Twitter is part of the speech now. But I love when a fighter does it old school and he goes up there and he speaks on the mic or speaks on interviews. He's at least there, he's present. And that's something that Nanito Donet more interested in than using Twitter.
Yeah, and we're honestly really bad with our social media. Like out of all the things that I have to do in my life, like social media is literally the least on my list. Like I'm like, man, like look at our Instagram, look at our Twitter. I don't remember the last time that we posted something.
So Tip Bayless says, Rachel, they have more than 140 characters now.
Do they have 142 now? No, I'm just kidding. It's still okay.
So Reptile says, life was simple when I grew up. Only had to be one on the number, one social media site, but all the others not anymore. Like I remember years and years ago, there was AOL for the Americans, American Online. I don't think
Hmm.
Rachel, but
Yes,
that's
I
what it
remember.
called. America Online, and then there was what was it? Hotmail, MSN, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Our Hotmail, MSN, and that's how we used to interact on email.
Mm-hmm.
And then came these platforms like Twitter,
No, chat rooms. Then there
chat
was chat
room,
rooms.
yeah.
And then there
Facebook
was
was big. Facebook or
before
MySpace.
Facebook, MySpace was huge.
Yeah. MySpace.
Friendster. Oh, no, Nito said Friendster. You had Friendster?
Yes, Hawker Mustang, my brother. Yeah, Ryan, Tank, and Haney fight more on Twitter than real. It is getting like that though. Twitter's big for these guys. Haney, Tank, Ryan, Tio. This is their generation. It's about tweet. Motherfucker, I'm gonna tweet you out. Just like what Tio's doing today with Regis. It's all about tweet. And if do you know what's happening now? If you don't respond, then people start thinking, why are you not responding? There's this new wave that you need to respond. Don't have your Twitter account there. You know it's coming. You got to respond. This is how the fans or people are.
Yeah.
Bro, I
Yeah,
still
we
got
just
my MSN.
don't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Have you still got your MSN, Rachel?
No, I think it's on my Hotmail.
Yeah, remember the Hotmail? I use Hotmail.
I still have my MySpace. It's still active. I've checked on it. I'm like, holy shit, I could still log in. This is funny. I
Oh,
should actually
wow.
update that shit.
Wow, that's crazy. And I know that for businesses, it's LinkedIn, isn't it?
LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn. Yeah. That was the first thing that people were putting their businesses on. Because I remember I had a little business and I put it on there. I was doing some products, I imported them, and I put it on there. And I was getting a lot of people contacting me one time from there. But I didn't use that anymore. That was them days. But look, man, a tip says, I wish I can remember my password.
To MySpace. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised I can still get into my MySpace. It's actually pretty funny.
But look how
I'm like,
big
I wonder.
look how big it is. How much did Twitter sell for, Rachel?
40, frick, what is it? 40 million? 40 billion?
No. How much did it sell for?
40 something.
Billion.
Is it a billion?
Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, from that's I don't know how much, but it was billion.
What are you talking about? It's 44 billion it was
Yeah,
sold
see,
for.
I said it's a 40. I was half right.
44 billion to
Yep.
Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter has become one of the biggest companies. Oh my God. 44 billion. Now, say if Elon Musk is going to charge people for a monthly subscription.
He's charging $8 a month for blue tick now.
What's blue tick?
Verified.
So whoever's verified has got to pay $8 a month?
No, going forward.
Okay, it hasn't implemented yet.
No, so whoever's already verified gets theirs already grandfathered in. But if you want to be verified and you haven't been able to, you can get verified now for
Just got to
$8 a
pay
month.
it.
Yep.
That's all right. I'll just pay it and get on Twitter. That's cool. So it's going to look, they're going to change a little attitude of the company. Twitter has become from a little Tweety bird, $44 billion. And today you got Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Tank Davis, everybody on there speaking their tweets, coming at the tweets. And there's all thousands of you every day interested in these tweets. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bit more old school. I like what Nonito Donaire is doing. He's going straight to the fights to talk to the people and see what's going on. You know what I mean? They're out there to show their face. That's all I've ever remembered. Now the Twitter and everything else is taking over. But Rachel came out with a good one. And I'm going to use it on when we start this debate of Twitter and social media. Is that if you want to use it and you really are serious, do it with a video. Maybe then it might even get the message across even stronger. I mean, that probably is the real way to do real call outs or tell your story. Is that what you're saying,
Yep.
Rachel? Yeah?
Yep. Especially if you're doing a call out. For sure. You're doing a call out.
Somebody says, Frank says Twitter started with $2 million.
Yep.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. But Rap, I gotta
yeah.
go. I gotta
Amazing,
wake up in
amazing,
6.
guys. What a great show we had. We really did This Is Your Life. I think we did do This Is Your Life today. So thanks for coming on, guys.
No worries. Have a good night.
Yeah, you guys have a great night. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. You had Rachel Donaire, Nanito Donaire, no one else but the true champs themselves on the channel. So everybody else, go make a tweet that you saw it on Rapstar Boxing. Go use the Twitter, you know what I mean? Everybody go use that social media. Yes. Because you know, without social media, people can't live anymore. Right? But look, man, I've had time on my hands today, and the show went somewhere else once Nanito Donaire came over here. But let's remember this. Lomachenko and Devin Haney is going to be a done deal. That was the live. Lomachenko, Devin Haney is going to happen. The fight is getting ready to be signed and it's going to be announced soon. From what I'm hearing, that Bob Arum said that this fight is just waiting now for the venue and the date. So get ready. Lomachenko, Devin Haney happening soon. The fight should be coming up. We should be getting announced this fight. But on that note, everybody who came through today, you've been listening to Rapstar. Or should I say Oprah? Today was Oprah, man. I'm out of it. Peace.
Right, what's going on here, Donny's on the next? Barry's actually going to propose to Sandra. Sandra has been giving Barry mad head lately, and he's whipped, yeah? He's doing this behind the back of the boys because they know, yeah, they would have cussed him out for proposing to Sandra. Tracy had one job to do, and that was to record it. But she's all over the bloody place. Barry's clocked that she didn't get the footage, so he's going to propose to Sandra again. Oh, for fuck's sake, Tracy! What's going on?
What up?
How are you?
I'm great.
Can we meet you?
My name is Tunde Tupac, aka the Rap Killer,
Tunde Tupac.
the Rap Flexer, kill them all.
Your name. Your
name is
Tunde Tupac.
Tunde Tupac.
You can write the Rap Killer there.
But Tunde is your
It's
name.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Tunde, with your dressing, I know the kind of song that you're about to present.
Yes.
So you want to tell us about it?
Just rap game. I kill the rap game because the haters want us down. They're not going to get us.
You don't need to tell us about the haters now.
Rappers, right? You're a rapper.
Rapper.
Good. Let's hear you.
Check it. Ha ha. Check it. Ha ha. Check it. Check it. Check it. I rule everywhere. I rule. They want to take me down, but they cannot take me down. Yeah. I rule New York. I rule Lagos to Atlanta. We go to Chicago. Check me out. Check my game. My game is tight. All the haters, I shoot them in the brain. Boom, boom, boom. I've been around with my guys, 50 Cent, Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg. We're all in this game together because I kill them all. I kill Tupac and I kill Biggie. I kill them all because they can't contain my rap game.
Hey!
It's off the hook because I kill you all now.
No, calm down. You killed
who?
It's just a lyric. Don't fear.
Lyric.
Yeah.
Your lyric will put you in trouble. You have to be very careful. You don't just go about saying things that you don't know.
It's a rap game. That's
Oh, okay.
How old are you?
I've been in this game for more than 20 years.
How old are you?